We're in the office.
Waiting to see if he sounded out of breath or not. That was record time.
Forgot my headphones, but I remembered. I got them. We're good.
You don't understand how the hierarchy works. You know, the producer is lesser than, and you should just stare at me like, why don't I have my headphones?
Bring me my stuff, peasant. You did refer to yourself as the king of the peons yesterday.
That's right.
Still a king. Grab the crown, king.
Still the king. Like the king in John Wick. That's me.
I have to tell you, so I am straight up giddy about today. It is Major League Baseball's opening day. We got Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast coming on at 9:40. We got Fight Club with Lonzo at 11:20, and I'm going to go ahead and give you the. It's not even a warning. It's a gift. There will be an extended Fight Club with Lonzo today. Why? Because it is WrestleMania weekend. And we got a card to break down. Lonzo, there's 39 matches on the card?
Stop it. I've had a rough week, okay? So I saw 39 and automatically thought, it's 2 nights, 39. That sounds about right. And it's actually WrestleMania 39.
There it is.
And I've seen all of them. So, I mean, you'd think I would know that. But
me and WrestleMania born in the same year.
It wasn't, there was no Roman numerals, so it threw me off. It was actual numbers.
Fight Club with Lonzo will be extended today because we've got the WrestleMania card. We got Rashad Beard at 9:40. We got opening day in baseball, so we got to get into that. We got the Final Four coming up, men's and women's, set to kick off this weekend. We got to start getting into that.
You know what's really cool, though? You know what's really cool? Really, really, really cool. You know how cool? It's very cool. South Carolina Gamecocks on this station Friday night.
Final Four matchup as the Gamecocks take on Caitlin Clark. And why is that interesting?
Stop with the Caitlin Clark stuff. All right, this is starting to...
You mean the Naismith National Player of the Year, Caitlin Clark?
It's starting to get on my nerves. It's starting to be disrespectful. I'll wait. But it's really, yesterday I was like, okay, I see what... Now today, this is becoming a thing.
Dude, is she not a baller? She's a baller.
One person cannot beat a complete team.
No, but when one person puts 41 up, it sure does make it easier for the other ones.
Undefeated?
Undefeated? I'm not saying they're better. I'm saying there are between South Carolina, between the Queens putting on another crown.
Stop it. They're just trying. They're trying. This is and you pointed this out yesterday, and I'm going to point this out now. This is just the media, the sports media trying to hype up a game that we know what's going to happen. We know exactly what's going to happen. The reigning, defending, undisputed champions.
That's all the growl you got for that?
We got an entire show, man. I just I'm like, the reigning, defending, undisputed champions. I don't have to hype it. I don't have to hype it. Undefeated for a reason. Stop with your Caitlin Clark stuff. Gamecocks, baby. Come on.
Said, the disrespect card. Everybody disrespected. Who's out here disrespecting the Gamecocks?
You just did by bringing up Caitlin Clark. I mean, who cares?
I care. She's a gangster. She's a sniper, man.
We're going to see tomorrow night. And you know what? You're going to be able to hear it right here on the Fan Upstate.
Gamecocks by 22. It just is what it is. All right. Yes, I am trying to make this game interesting. Partially, Lonzo, because we're carrying it.
I enjoy a beatdown, and I'm going to enjoy a beatdown tomorrow night. So if you want to hear a beatdown, tune in. There's another game on too. Right? I don't know.
There is, but we know
it's a game that's not
we
South
know
Carolina.
what we're watching.
Absolutely.
Iowa versus USC for the marbles, man. Not really. It's for a trip to the Natty. But let's be honest. Winner of that game is likely your national champion, right? It feels like the Georgia-Ohio State semi. It feels like whoever wins that game is going to win the Natty.
All right, here's the difference. That game actually lived up to the billing. This is team versus one player. She ain't Michael Jordan. She ain't LeBron James.
I mean, she's Sue Bird. She's Candace Parker.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is. Is Caitlin Clark versus everybody. You want to know where this comes from for me? I'm actually going to be serious for like a second. You know where this comes from for me? This for me comes from I want women's basketball to continue to grow and be great. And it is. It is. The numbers are up this year, overall across the board. And by the way, South Carolina has started, I think, the 3 most viewed games of the regular season and the most viewed games of the tournament so far have all involved the Gamecocks. But in order for the sport to be good, there's got to be competition, right? The worst thing that ever happened to women's college basketball was the UConn Huskies. Was Gino and the Huskies being as good as they were for as long as they were. There was no competition. Nobody could touch them. And because nobody could touch them, games weren't compelling. What's the point of tuning in when UConn's beating everybody by 40? There's nothing compelling there. So, yes, I will go ahead and acknowledge to you. I got the Gamecocks. I'll take them plus 16.5. No question, I'll take them like plus 16.5. But I want this to be good so that it is compelling, so that people go, oh, the Gamecocks aren't untouchable. Maybe I should watch the Natty. Maybe somebody can snipe them. And on top of having great teams, I think you've got to have great, compelling superstars as well. And she may or may not be Aaliyah Boston, but Caitlin Clark is a threat, man, because she can score from anywhere. Inside, outside, you've got to dedicate 2 players to her, which opens up other Hawkeyes, and the Hawkeyes have some guys and gals that could be Hawkeye.
All right.
They can snipe.
All right, so I know you're being serious here, but I can't help myself.
But I'm not going to.
Yeah, I just suddenly realized, you know how there's something in the room and then finally you see it. Everybody else knows it's in there, but you don't. I just realized that South Carolina's playing Iowa. Why is that significant in this building? I don't know why. Why would we want to hype up Iowa in this building? I don't know why.
For the record, it's not a move. It's really not. I love Caitlin Clark. I love Haley Van Lith. I like Caitlin Clark. I love Aaliyah Boston. Those are my girls.
I'm usually down with this, Steve. We'll just say Steve. But in this case, go Gamecocks.
I genuinely hope it's a good game. I'm taking South Carolina minus 16.5. I hope I'm wrong and it's a great game.
You know what? I just hope you tune in tomorrow night to the Fan Upstate and listen to it right here.
Yes, indeed. Live in living color right here on the Fan Upstate. Absolutely can't wait. That is going to be, I think it's got the capability of being very, very good. A lot more we got to get into today. I was up late doing show prep last night. Here's what I got for you. You know who's not a big fan of Josh Allen's style of quarterbacking? Josh Allen's new head coach. I'll tell you what McDermott said. The guy who's going to be calling the defense, but also running as the HC after Leslie Frazier stepped away for health concerns. We'll talk about that. Thursday night football was so bad this past season that the NFL has decided to pass a new rule that will allow NFL teams, force NFL teams to no longer play 1 short week. Now they can play 2, which means that teams are now eligible to play twice a year on Thursday night football. The players hate it. The fans hate it. The coaches hate it. Everybody hates it except whom? Owners and TV execs.
Here's the thing. If you are not a very good team, you're not going to play on Thursday night. So there's that.
Right.
If you are a good team, yeah.
Twice a year,
maybe
you can be forced onto Thursday. Now, they did not approve a flex package for Thursday night football. they were initially considering a flex for, I think, the last 4 weeks of the season where they could pull a team with a Sunday slate and go ahead and move them to the Thursday night. So basically, the last 4 weeks of the season, the Thursday night games would be determined like 3 weeks out. So basically, every game that could be a playoff game could be flexed to Thursday. They did not go with that. So the schedule for Thursday nighters has to be set in the preseason now, but all of the good teams could be forced on the Thursday Night Football twice. That's 2 short weeks in a season. And when we have plenty of divisions that come down to a single game, having one team playing 2 short weeks with 2 Thursday nighters and one team playing no short weeks with no Thursday nighters, that is an advantage. Not a huge one, but it is one.
Other than the fact that you can hear all those games live right here on the Fan Upstate, because we're really into self-promotion today, I think they could have helped Thursday night out by putting it on the platform where everyone could see it instead of putting it where not everyone can see it.
I mean,
there's that. I mean, you could do that.
You and I both know.
So the money was important then, but the numbers are down. It has to do with the games. The games were not good, but maybe it has something to do with it not being in a place where everyone can see it.
Doesn't matter. They're getting $1 billion for it. They don't give a damn if they put it on at 2:30 in the morning on Skinamax, as long as they're getting $1 billion for it. We're going to talk about that later on the show. MLB divisional predictions. I will give you my divisional winners later today. Why? Because at 1:05 p.m., ladies and gentlemen, it's opening day of Major League Baseball. And your go-to guy in the upstate for baseball talk on the show is RB3.
Which is awesome. Don't you also have a show coming up about baseball?
Sure do. Starting April 15th, available right here in the upstate on our HD radio station. You will hear Bet for the Cycle with former MLB player Cody Decker, guy who loves to cosplay as the Crow, hating ass Mario, and of course, the voice of baseball in the upstate, Rob Brown. Every Saturday from noon to 4, Bet for the Cycle, where we will talk all about the baseball games of that day and that week and set you up to win a little scratch. You're welcome.
Just real quick, for any salespeople listening or people who own a business, you've just heard our sales pitch for just about everything right there. Why are you not here on this show? Please contact, downstairs and say you would like to advertise on the Rob Brown Show.
Especially if you're one of those bars that promotes baseball, I am your dude.
If you're
at me, bro.
If you're into making profit or an actual or selling something,
we got you, dog.
We can take care of it for you.
We're gonna come to that later on. The beginning of the pitch clock era. Now, I've given you all my thoughts as an analyst. I've given you all of my thoughts as a baseball guy. You know who we really haven't heard all that much from yet? Players. Well, ESPN talked to some players. We're going to take a look at the pitch clock era and how it impacts baseball players, the guys out there on the diamond that handle the business every year. We'll talk about that later on in the show. Lamont Paris has just had another player transfer, except for the very first time, it's a transfer in. And it's a starting guard from a Big Ten school. It's a big name coming down to South Carolina. I'll tell you who and how it impacts them. Spencer Rattler was in the news. Why? Because Spence has finally spoken out about the reasons he has decided to return to Columbia to run it back one more time. Spencer Rattler gave us some of the thoughts, some of the reasons that he is back. We'll get to those in a little while. Mike Florio put out a note yesterday. He says he firmly believes at this point that the NFL has a long-term goal, Lonzo, a long-term goal of having 7 nights a week with an NFL game. He says the NFL is taking steps in the direction of having an NFL game on the television 7 nights a week throughout the season.
That diminishes the product.
We're going to talk about that coming up later on in the radio broadcast. So all of that and more coming up on the show. 9:40, Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast joins us. At 10 o'clock straight up, Major League Baseball opening day projections and predictions. At 11:20, Fight Club with Lonzo. It'll be a long one as we run you down the WrestleMania card for the weekend. All of that and more coming up on the show for baseball, the show for wrestling, the show for hockey, the show for sports fans, the Rob Brown Show on the station for sports in the upstate. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fan Upstate. All right, let's see. Hudson says it's opening day, baby. That's right. James said we just went through the disrespect card a month ago. I know, and it still makes me laugh. That's why we're here, James. That's why we're here, to make me laugh. Hudson says we get to win at one sport, and you're hitting us with Iowa.
Well,
your baseball team's really damn good right now.
And I beg to differ. I think we know who won that football game last year. And if you don't know, let me remind you that the Gamecocks beat Clemson. They did.
Team versus one player. What could go wrong? Caitlin Clark goes for 50.
Yeah, he doesn't believe it. He couldn't say it. It's
for 50.
Yeah.
How much would the WNBA benefit from players like Clark in Boston getting attention? It's that they need to step up to that next level and continue it, Trey. They've had plenty of great college basketball players on the women's side go to the WNBA. They just got to do a better job of publicizing it, right? Got to do a better job of publicizing it. It is huge that Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston and the rest of these players are getting their love at the collegiate level, but we need it at the next one too. Skrilla says, morning, boyos. Happy Thirsty Thursday. They should have made a Funk Master Flex on Thirsty Thursday night football. I'm here for it. Diggs, what's up, big dog? Welcome in. Good to have you. Skrilla says it is opening day for MLB. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Skinamax fans tuning in at 2 a.m. for different reasons might be disappointed. The internet has changed the need for Skinamax, James, without a doubt. Hudson says, you said we can get Comic-Con tickets from Borderlands, correct?
Yes, Borderlands Comics and Games, 410 South Pleasantburg Drive.
There you go.
Yeah, they didn't win a championship. You know what they did win? The state of South Carolina. That's what they won. What the Gamecocks won is Clemson fans being quiet for a while till the game rolls back around again. Man, it's still warm in here. Maybe, old man, it's so hot in here. Yeah, Hudson Comic-Con just 2 weeks away. Cannot wait to go to Comic-Con and People Watch to see what's the big anime, what's the big video game that's hitting right now, because you can tell by how everyone's dressed up. Really think about going up and talking to Dan Severin after that interview we had with him. That dude was awesome. And you can see him and a bunch of other people too. You hear people on the radio interviewed and things like that, and then you want to see how big they really are in person. Several of the people we've interviewed here went up, after at Comic-Con and went, oh, yeah. Road Warrior Animal was one of those guys.
Snake.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, they're big, and then you get next to them, especially if you're a taller guy or taller than most of the people in the building, and then you go up and you're looking up at someone like, wow. And I don't cosplay at Comic-Con because that would deprive everybody of me. It's a joke. You come up and talk to me, I will say hi.
He'll hug you.
No, I won't. I might, unless you're Kevin. That's a good point, Luke. I'm thinking that's not really a cat. That might be a mountain lion. It's possible. Or a cougar. Could be a cougar.
Skrilla said, do we think that Cody Rhodes will beat Roman Reigns? I just don't see it. Well, you should tune in at 11:20 a.m. for Fight Club with Lonzo, because we will probably talk about that.
All right. I gotta admit, I haven't decided yet.
I don't know.
Yeah, when we get there, we'll pick it.
Look,
but I haven't decided yet.
It's either they finish up the story and they start a new one with the new bloodline, or they decide that Roman should go for 1,000 days. He should be the next 1,000-day champ. I think there's only been, 3 of them so far? Hogan, I can't even tell you who. I know Hogan was one.
Bruno Sammartino.
Sammartino was one, and I think there's one more. And I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. But we'll talk about all of that during Fight Club. 20 minutes from now, Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast joins us to talk some cat football. That's all coming up. But let me get to a couple of things. Let's start with the NFL. They have had a couple of big stories drop over the last couple of days. I want to start with this one. The NFL has made 2 decisions regarding Thursday Night Football. The first of them is that they have decided to table a motion that was made by NFL ownership and administration that would allow the last few weeks of the season to see their Thursday night football games flex. Now, we do already have flex scheduling at the end of the season. It effectively allows the NFL week by week to go in, pick the games that are the most important, the most compelling, take those games and move them into a primetime slot. So if the schedule initially read that in week 16 in primetime, you were going to have, Arizona 4 games out of the division taking on the Raiders 4 games out of their division. And at a noon kick or a 1 o'clock kick, I'm still getting used to Eastern time. It's only been 3 years. Get off me, dog. And a 1 o'clock kick.
Come on, Rob. Come on. How many years do you think it'll take? Like 5?
At least 4.
Okay. All right.
At a 1 o'clock kick, you have the, Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills fighting for the AFC 1 seed. They can flex that game into prime time. That's the game more people are going to watch. So they thought about doing the same thing with Thursday night football games. They considered allowing Thursday night flexes, which would have allowed them to take Sunday games, move them into the Thursday spot, and create more compelling Thursday night matchups. I got it. Don't you worry about me.
I was more worried about the sound.
Handling my business.
No, the scraping of metal against metal. That's what I was trying to stop, but it happened.
There we go. Had to light myself up. Had to get lit.
If you want to see how lit Rob is, you should check us out on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube.
By searching The Rob Brown Show or The Fan Upstate. That is correct. So it would have allowed them to take some Sunday less compelling games, flex them to Thursday, vice versa, et cetera, et cetera. But they went ahead and nixed that idea. However, an idea that they went ahead and approved was the concept of 2 short week games per team per season. So now, if the Bills and the, Chiefs, let's just stick with them as the example. If the Bills and the Chiefs both have an early Thursday night game in the year, not against each other, in previous seasons, that would have been the end of their short weeks. They would have only played the 1, which means they would not have been in danger of getting a second Sunday or a second Thursday game. Now they can. So if you get a Bills-Broncos matchup, or let's say a Chiefs-Broncos divisional matchup earlier in the year, because they want to feature Patrick Mahomes versus the new-look Broncos under Sean Payton, but then they also want to move a Chiefs-Bills game late in the year, the Chiefs could end up playing on Thursday Night Football twice. Now, that might not feel like that big of a problem, right? with the exception that Rob's got to stay up till 1 in the damn morning on Thursdays during football season, and he's getting old. But it is a problem in that short weeks mean less time to rehab, less time to practice, less time to get the playbook down for this week's matchup, less time to get ready for that short week game.
But they also have the extended time after.
Sure you do. But considering what they are trying to do this year and create more compelling matchups, if you get a long week coming off of a game against the Raiders, helmed by Jimmy Garoppolo, and you're the Chiefs, right? If you play the Raiders on a Sunday and the Bills on a Thursday, that's a massive game, right? And that's gonna take away from prep time for a team that is a genuine threat for dominance in the AFC. You flip those two teams around, might work out well for you, right? You get the Bills or you get the Raiders on a Thursday, and then you get a long week before you play the Bills. But let's be real. Considering how bad Thursday night football was last year, what do you think the odds are, Zoe, that the National Football League and Apple TV putting these Thursday night games together, what do you think the odds are going to be that they are going to give you a bunch of Chiefs-Raiders matchups instead of a bunch of Chiefs-Bills matchups? Probably not that good. Apple's paying $1 billion for Thursday Night Football. Literally, that's not Rob being haha, funny, hilarious, exaggerative. They are paying $1 billion for Thursday Night Football, and their product was not good last year. So they are going to be pushing the NFL to go, hey, we don't want scrap crap matchups anymore. We don't want the least compelling Sunday game. We want divisional matchups. We want playoff matchups. We want matchups between teams that are competing for the 1 seed. Give them to us in the NFL, knowing there's $1 billion at play. And by the way, if and when they re-up Thursday Night Football, it's going to go up from there. They are going to go, you're right, we got to give you some compelling matchups, which means that teams are going to be facing some of the best teams on their schedule on a short week. And if you are, Amazon, thank you, James. Amazon, not that it matters.
They both start with an A.
Right.
Yeah. And the thing is, the not accessible for everybody. Well, it is if you have money, but not everyone has the money with all the services out there. Some people can only pick one. And if they didn't pick Amazon, well, then they don't get to watch it. The other reason why you need the games to be more compelling is because the two guys in the booth, there's no chemistry. And you're forcing them to have to talk more. And Al is obviously there to get a paycheck. Herbstreit's trying really hard, but Al's just there to get a paycheck, and there's no chemistry there. So that makes it. I do like their pregame show and their halftime show. I think it's a good cast of a bunch of different guys. And
it's also where we got run the goddamn football.
Yes, and
my favorite quote in football history.
I'm gonna get another email from the boss.
No, I already cleared it with him.
Yeah, I know, but you did it again. He may have forgot about it. So I mean, it's been a couple months. I listen. The thing all the way around was bad last year. That's the reason why I'm bringing that up. The games were not good, and the interaction in the booth I did not think was well. And one thing you have to do is you've got to have some good back and forth between your analyst and your play-by-play guy when the game is not good, and it wasn't last year.
Yeah, I think we all kind of get used to having good play-by-play, so when you get bad play-by-play, it stands out. And then when you stack bad box commentary on top of a bad game, it's worse, right? So Amazon paid $1 billion to the NFL to get Thursday Night Football, and you know good and gosh darn well that they're going to be pushing for better matchups this year, and that would not be bad except for you're going to end up having super compelling, more importantly, super important matchups on Thursday nights with two teams coming off of short weeks. Do you think that if Mahomes and the Chiefs play a Sunday nighter, and Allen and the Bills play a late Sunday afternoon game, and then they got to turn around and they have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 3 days to get ready for a Thursday nighter, do you think we're going to get the best Chiefs-Bills game we can get out of that? No.
No, you're right, but they won't do any practice during the week. They'll just do walkthroughs. It gets them out of the routine. I've been watching some things, players talking about how, and just like us, we have a routine. Every job that you do that the guys listening and girls listening right now, working somewhere, you have a routine. And when you get outside of that routine, it can mess things up for you. And it definitely will mess things up if you're like flying 30 miles an hour towards another human being. But the other thing is it's NFL, man. I would watch it anyway. And I know that there's a lot of
people if they played the next day.
Right. And I think we're not a minority when it comes to that. I mean, what is the other channel offering for college football on Thursday night? Usually not that good of a matchup. And back in the day, you could switch back and forth. Now you can't do that anymore.
Right. But here's what I'm saying. All that's true. I'm still going to watch Thursday. Sometimes there's a Thursday night college game that might be better. All that I'm saying.
So I'm not trying to defeat your point. What I'm trying to say is they're doing this, but how many more people are they trying to bring in? How many people went? That's a bad matchup. They're trying to get fringe people. NFL people are like, NFL's on tonight. I'm going to watch.
Right. But you just nailed it, right? They are trying to get those handful of people out there. And I'm sure when I say handful, I'm talking about a dozen million people that, hey, if it's on, I'll watch it. If it's not, it's not. But they're only going to stick around for it if it's a good game. And like you just said, NFL players are people. NFL playing is a job. If you take Rob Brown out of his routine, Rob's got a routine. I got a morning time wake up. I got my morning time routine. I get here at the same time. If you disrupt my routine, there's a very good chance you're not going to get my best work because I'm focused on, all right, my routine's disrupted, but I still got to get all of this stuff done. I still got to handle my business the right way. And I'm focused on that instead of the business, right? So you're taking NFL guys who have built a routine, especially leading up to and into the biggest games on the schedule. They know what their big games are, right? They know what their big games are. You're disrupting that flow that they build on a week-to-week basis and now you're making them do it twice. And to kind of piggyback onto that, the thought here is, let's say that the two short week games are on the schedule for the Chiefs and they're not for Denver. Let's say Vegas, right? Vegas isn't as compelling this year. Let's say they're not for Vegas. Well, what if we come down to week 17 and the Chiefs have to beat the Raiders in order to get the 1 seed overall?
I don't know. Vegas has that guy at quarterback now.
That guy. Jimmy G, baby. Yeah. He's that guy. He's no Derek Carr, though, if we're being honest.
Yeah, Derek
Carr is a flamethrower.
I was going to say
right?
that's what they're counting on.
Yeah,
that he's no Derek Carr.
Mark Davis, by the way, the other day said that he feels bad for what happened to Derek Carr. He said Derek Carr is better than he showed in Vegas, but we screwed him with the repeated coaching changes. I agree. Derek Carr's a Hall of Famer. Watch. Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Gold jacket guaranteed after this year.
I'm not believing you, but
they might put it on Derek Carr in like week 14. They'll be like, damn, this guy. Watch.
You got to work on your delivery. By week 1, you might actually feel it. It's
Derek
possible. But that's the best quarterback in the NFC South right now.
If the multiple short weeks create a disadvantage that impacts divisional looks, all I'm saying is this. At the end of the day, I don't need to give you more examples of how and why I know that the NFL doesn't give a damn about you, its fans, because Thursday Night Football is super not convenient, especially on the East Coast, where those games aren't ending till after midnight sometimes, right? It's not convenient for fans. It's certainly not convenient for players. It's not convenient for people who work in stadiums to work a Thursday night NFL game. It's not convenient for fans in those cities. Let's be real. If you live in New York City and you're a big Giants fan.
When you were there, did you do that any?
No.
Okay. All right. Afraid you might get beat up.
I don't want Carmine to hear me.
Yeah, there you go.
I take great offense. If you're in the city and the G-men are taking on the Cowboys on a Thursday night, it's not super convenient to you to leave New York City to go to the second most depressing place in America, New Jersey, to watch a football game that ends at 11:30, 11:45 at night, then go back to the city. And, oh, by the way, you got to work on Friday. It's not convenient to the fans. It's not convenient to the players. It's not convenient to the administration, to the staff. But they don't care because they're getting $1 billion. They don't care if the stadium's empty because Amazon is paying more than us. It's real simple. Let's take a break. When we come back here in just one moment from now, Rashad Beard is the host of the Panther Nation podcast. We're going to bring him on and talk a little bit of football, Carolina football. Why? Because we got to figure it out. Fitz sent me a text earlier. He was like, hey, Rob, where do we go at 39? And I was like, Fitz, let me have a conversation with Lonzo and Rashad. Let us come to a consensus. I'll text you back. I'll let you know who to pick at 39. So when we come back, you guys are going to help us tell Scott Fitterer who he should draft at number 39. That's next on the Rob Brown Show. That's next on the Fan Upstate. Look at me staying on the clock today, y'all. Look at me staying on the clock today.
You know, you could say that's kind of what happens if you're like in the room early and maybe that could be part. I'm just throwing it out there.
So you guys, I bought a tablet yesterday. Okay. And the tablet, Zoe. I'm impressed. You haven't dropped that pen yet. You have. This pen costs money.
Yeah. Okay.
This isn't a $4 pen. The tablet allows me to write and take notes right here on the surface of it. But it's limitless, right? Like, it's not like my legal pad where it's like I got limited paper. I can go ahead and erase. I can do all the stuff on it. And so I was able to move all my show prep onto the tablet. And then I can continue to take notes on it down at the bottom and just keep scrolling. So I can write stuff like responses to Lonzo that I might otherwise forget to come back to. Shockingly, it happens. And then I can come back to them. I sat in bed with this last night, putting the show together. And it's the most comprehensive show I've put together in weeks. I feel so good about it. This is a freaking game changer.
We're only 36 minutes in. So far, I mean,
that's fine, Lonzo.
Okay.
Just
I mean, you could drop the pen. Then what will you do?
In fairness, there's really actually not much. It's like an $18 pen. There's not much to it. So I could throw it at the wall and it wouldn't break.
Yeah, don't do that.
But I'm not going to risk it.
You could have engineering build you a strap and cord to go on your wrist that you can put the pen on, and then you'll never drop it. Should have thought of that before.
Steven said, Rob, just say that's a $4 pen. My pens usually cost about 25 cents. You need to treat yourself, Steven. Get you some better pens, all right?
Unless you work in radio where they thief them. People steal pens all over the place.
My good pen, goes in the laptop bag at the end of every day. You will not get my good pen. Not going to happen. Never happen. Not going to happen.
Well, no one has touched my pen, but it's my pen. So, I mean, we know what happens. Yeah. Have you sent him the thing?
Do what?
Rashad? Never mind. There he is. Duh.
That guy?
Well, I guess you did, didn't you?
Sure did. Sure enough did. Rashad, what's up, big dog?
I'm chilling, hanging in here.
Heard that, man. Heard that. Ready for a big WrestleMania weekend?
I
No.
was gonna say it's okay to say no. I mean, if you're not into it, you're not into it. That's fine.
Nah, I mean, it's mid.
All right, the hashtags I'm just not getting, guys. But I'm old and slow, so I mean it could have something to do with it, but I'm just not getting it. I might need like some lengthy explanations. You're making me feel old. Don't do that.
Are they making you feel old, or is being old making you feel old?
Why, Rob?
Being old makes me feel old.
Okay, yeah, and that would make me ancient, but that's fine. I don't feel old. I'm a goofball. I get to be a goofball on the air. All those people have said, "You're just too silly. What are you going to do with your life?" Well, I'm going to be silly on the air. So there.
I'm going to get paid. That's what I'm doing.
Well, let's not go too far, but Is that big O or big O? Or is that big zero? Because now you can be zero now. Which we didn't talk about yesterday on the air. Would you want to be zero?
Yep.
I mean, I get it means something else, but
My high school number was 00. That way, at the end of basketball games, my stat line was 00, 000, 000, 000, all the way across.
Worked out well. That's prep right there. And yes, Hudson, we know that Rob's an ageist. He pointed out he was old, but what he really meant is, hey, Grandpa, be quiet. That's what I heard.
That's why we got to get you better shoe game, man.
Yeah, when I can afford it this week, possibly I'm going to go out and do. It's a big deal, me buying new shoes, because I settled last time and I've been cracked on ever since. And now I'm afraid to go buy new shoes because everyone's going to destroy me. It's kind of peer pressure I can't handle, Rashad. I can't handle it.
I'm trying to get Lonzo to stream from the shoe store when he goes to pick out new kicks so that we can all combine to help him a little bit. Will you jump on to help Lonzo get a better pair of shoes stream with us?
I'm going to be completely honest. I don't have time to help Lonzo with his shoe shopping.
It's Thursday. You know what that means. Time to talk a little Carolina Panther football here on the Rob Brown Show with the Fan Upstate. Rob, Lonzo, you, and of course now joined by half of the Panther Nation podcast host. He is Rashad Beard, joining us live from North Carolina. What's up, young man?
What's up? All is well. All is well over here.
Glad to hear, buddy.
All right, I'm going to jump in here because I'm hurt. And then I'm going to step away. Rashad doesn't have time for me to help me with my problem. But that means I'm stuck with Rob. I'm stuck with Rob helping me.
I'm going to tell you, buddy.
Yeah. See, I don't think you'll steer me wrong, Rashad. He will. So he can make fun of me for another year or so.
Yes, tough situations, though. Tough situation.
We're trying, for those of you that are don't listen to the show more than once a week. I told Zoe, who's going to get some shoe shopping done at some point in the next few days, to go live stream with us so that we could help him pick out a pair of not #dad kicks as he shows off the most dad kicks of all time on the stream. I asked Rashad. Rashad's like, I ain't got time for that. That's a process, man. That's going to be an endeavor. All right, big dog, let's talk cat football. And let's go with, and let me be clear, this is not a setup question because I don't believe there's a chance. In fact, I believe there's a negative chance. But yesterday, Frank Reich and co. visited Anthony Richardson down in Gainesville. They're set up for the Gator Pro Day today. There have been constant reports that Reich is enamored with Anthony Richardson and the physical talents that he has, even if it takes time to develop it. Scott Fitterer got asked if he thinks Frank Reich would go that direction. He didn't say no, right? If I ask you to handicap it, what are the odds that a name that is not Stroud or Young is called number one by the Panthers on draft day, Rashad Beard?
0% chance. It's not happening. I wouldn't bet any money on that. It's Stroud or Richardson. Obviously, they're not going to tell you who they're drafting. This is part of the game. They don't want to show their hand. So no, Anthony Richardson. They've got to go do the due diligence. They got to go look at him. Obviously, they're going to check him out. They're going to go eat dinner with them, figure out what's going on. But there's no chance that he is a Carolina Panther on draft night. I would be highly surprised, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I said on Twitter when I had somebody the other day ask me, any chance that they go Richardson before Stroud or Young? And my answer, Rashad, was short answer, no. Long answer, no. It's just not happening, right? Like here's my question. What if they do shock the world? What if they do go Anthony Richardson at 1? Are the helmets coming off the wall the next morning for you?
Yeah, I would be quite I'd be quite upset. I don't. So if you want to see what's going to happen, tune into my live stream on draft night, because if that happens, this whole room might get destroyed. But yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Stroud or Bryce, man. Let's hope that happens.
Yeah, I think at this point it's pretty much all over except which one of those two. And hey, why not? Since we're here, let's update. Still leaning CJ Stroud. I think not just ability with the legs, because Bryce has got some slipperiness. I think for me, Rashad, CJ Stroud can do a better job at reforming the base, stepping back up on the platform after a run, and continuing the process of throwing the ball. Bryce Young loses accuracy, specifically in the short range coming off of the run, that I don't think CJ does. And that's why he goes that I think that's why they go with CJ Stroud number 1 overall, despite the fact that there are a lot of scouts that are trying to make us believe, fair or not, it's up to you, that Bryce Young is a better pure quarterback than CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I think you can. I mean, it really it's on your preference, right? You've got Bryce Young, who's a smaller quarterback. That matters. It's ultimately going to matter when it comes to playing this game. You sit here and you watch Tua get thrown around, and those hits that he took in SEC football. It's going to be different. These guys are grown men. Although we like to compare SEC football to NFL, it's not. It's not NFL level football. So I'm concerned long term about his ability to stay up. He's obviously going to put on some weight, but I just have some concerns about Brian. Again, if he was 2 or 3 inches taller, he would be the clear number 1 overall pick. But size does matter, and so I'm going to roll with CJ Stroud. And CJ, I think, just had what he doesn't have, I believe, can be coached up, right? So the ability to move, run around. He showed what he can do in Georgia. He didn't show it, throughout the year consistently, but I think that can be coached up out of him, and I think that he'll be fine moving forward. Bryce, you can't coach size. You can't. It is what it is. So I'm gonna trust my coaching staff, and I'm gonna allow them to coach up the deficiencies that are in CJ Stroud, and I'm rolling with CJ Stroud.
All right. Since the last time we talked to Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, make sure you are subscribed to the PNP on YouTube. Panther Nation podcast, your home for all the Panthers coverage you could possibly want, and then just a little bit more every Thursday when Rashad joins the Rob Brown Show. Last we talked about the 39 pick. You and I think, if I recall correctly, both said it's edge rusher or it's wide receiver. Since then, DJ Chark has been added to the roster alongside Adam Thielen. TMJ is still on there. Shi Smith out of South Carolina still there as well. Am I wrong for, after the addition of DJ Chark as a vertical guy, Adam Thielen as a slot guy who can find any hole anywhere in coverage, sit down, and Hayden Hurst at tight end, thinking, sure, we could update the receiver, the ball catching, the skill position down the line, but I am heavy prioritizing edge rusher with the 39 pick at this point, especially since I think you've got a deeper pool of talent available at edge rusher than wide receiver in this draft.
I got to be honest with you. I'm not all in and sold on these wide receivers. Here's the thing. So Chark is on a 1-year contract, and the jury's out on whether he can stay healthy or not. He has yet to do it his entire career. So we have to see if he's healthy. I love the 6'4", 4'3". It all sounds great, but if you're not on the field, it really doesn't matter. Thielen, 32 years old, got him on the contract for 3 years, but is he going to be able to sustain? TMJ, I think he's on the third year of his contract, so you're going to have to look to re-up him in a couple of years. So when you look at it from a team building standpoint, especially if I draft CJ Stroud, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to go out there and get Jackson Smith and Jigba. I need my quarterback to be 100% comfortable, and I'm going to go get his best friend and his best target. Marvin Harrison was his favorite target, but the second favorite target is going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba. So I'm going to get him. And whatever it takes to get him. So I'm not sold on the wide receiver position. If one is there, Josh Downs, Zay Flowers, one of those guys, I'm going out there and I'm going to get a wide receiver to make my quarterback, my big investment, the one I just traded up for, comfortable as possible.
I respect that. I don't disagree with you. That, by the way, is why I think we can talk Miles Sanders and Adam Thielen, but I think Hayden Hurst is probably the best free agent pickup, because I don't think it help Young or Stroud, whoever it ends up being, out more than getting them a more than trustworthy possession tight end to kind of be that safety filler. The question I have, and the reason I go edge rusher, is in switching to the Evero 3-4 out of the 4-3, You got Brian Burns on one side. You know you got Frankie Louvu, who you can kind of use as an outside backer that brings a little extra pressure, etc. But I still think you got to find somebody to pair up opposite of Brian Burns at the other defensive end position, as well as, honestly, maybe even look at somebody like a Nolan Smith that you can put out there as another outside linebacker that can play sideline to sideline and get up the field a little bit. With all the changes on defense, despite how good I think Ezra Evero will be as a DC, if you don't have defensive ends that can set the edge in a 3-4, you're going to end up creating a situation where you get less Louvu roaming and headhunting and more having to be an edge setter, which I think takes away from some of the talent that's already over there. That's why I think I go outside rusher.
Yeah, I think you got to also look at what's currently on the roster too. I mean, you got guys like Marquise Haynes, who I think he actually fits better in a 3-4. I think he was misused in prior systems. So you got to give him a chance. I think you drafted Amari Barno last year as well, coming off the edge, who was extremely fast. I think he also was playing out of position in the 4-3 and more so fits the 3-4. So you have guys on the roster that you could give a chance. Now, again, if a guy like I highly doubt Nolan Smith's going to be there in the second round of 39, but if he's there, I would most certainly take a look, and I would probably draft Nolan Smith there because I think he fits that Hassan Reddick style edge rusher that we sorely missed last year from a pass rusher standpoint. So I really think that I think we're in a good spot early in the second round, and I'm not mad at the taking the edge rusher. I'm not mad at taking the defensive end. I'm not mad at that at all. But for me, I got to get my quarterback comfortable. So whatever it takes to get him comfortable, I'm getting him a wide receiver.
Rashad Beard hosts the Panther Nation podcast. You can follow them on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. Make sure you subscribe to them on YouTube as well. What you guys got coming up this week, big dog?
So we are going to live stream Anthony Richardson's pro day in a couple of minutes, which starts at 10 o'clock. We're going to check that out. I think we got next week. Dave is going to do his mock draft Monday, which is going to be interesting because he knows absolutely nothing about college football. so it's going to be fun to watch him struggle making these picks. But yeah, we go live every Monday. We are like 200 subscribers away from 20,000 subscribers. I remember when we first got started, I mean, we were like, just under 10 or something like that. And I think I attribute all of our success to you, Rob. I want to just say that publicly, that you helped us tremendously. Rob and Zoe, you guys have been great. So we're almost there at 20,000 subscribers. So if you're listening, man, just head on over to PNP, hit that subscribe button, help us get to 20K. That'd be awesome.
I also attribute all your success to me. Thanks, buddy. Rashad Beard, I absolutely do not. I check out Panther Nation podcast every other day. Make sure I'm constantly up in the loop. It will do you great to do the same. Rashad, big dog, we'll get your mock draft results next week, buddy.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I love mock draft. I mock draft almost every single Monday, and it's just great. Opinions change. It's having fun.
Love it. Rashad Beard and the Panther Nation podcast every Thursday. Make sure you follow them on YouTube. Appreciate you, big fella. See you next week.
Absolutely. See you guys.
That's it. That is Rashad Beard. We are back after this with your MLB preseason divisional prognostications. That's next on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
Simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Wait, aren't these all charitable donations? At Magda's Tax Prep, every person counts. She needs new auditors to maximize returns on her family time.
DJ Chark, do. DJ Chark. That's gonna
You're
drive me crazy, and I did it.
why did you do that? And you're doing it to everybody.
It's one of those. If I gotta suffer, everybody's gonna suffer.
And we are. We absolutely are.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that. And that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. For spring cleaning, make your own cleaning products from baking soda and vinegar. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing? It's March, and you know what that means? Taxes are almost due. Jackson Hewitt can help you win tax season. That's the sound of your maximum tax refund. The sound of getting 50% off tax prep. The sound of many of our competitors' prices going up. And the sound of getting to your nearest Jackson Hewitt. Hurry in for 50% off tax prep before this offer expires April 9th. Limited time offer for new clients file in your participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means, wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card,
I don't know. My granddaughter really loved it. Probably still does. I think I'd rather hear that than the Barney "I Love You" song. I'd rather hear Baby Shark than that, because at least Baby Shark's upbeat, and you can throw other stuff in there.
With a great big hug and a kiss from me.
By the way,
to
don't ever sing that in front of Chris.
Why? You just drive him up.
Oh, he hates it, and you will get a talk.
Also, I'm dressed appropriately because I'm in for movie night.
Yeah, we need to discuss the exact time there, because
The 7:00 one.
okay, because I thought you guys were not going to do it, so I had a backup plan.
No, I'm good for.
Okay. Because Lisa's on standby to go ahead and buy tickets. So, but she checked already.
Yeah.
As of yesterday, not a lot of people going.
Okay.
So we should be.
It's Thursday night.
Yeah, but Thursday night for John Wick. Well, actually, we went during the day.
Yeah.
So, but I heard it was pretty packed. Got to remember to talk to Chris. I think it's 7:20. I'll look at the exact time. So, yeah, if you're hearing us talking about us going to the movies to see Dungeons and Dragons, you're welcome to come along. I mean, if you were going to go see it anyway, it's probably, if there's nobody in there, it's going to probably get kind of loud. So, I mean, before Rob won't talk during the movie. I won't talk during the movie. We're not those guys.
This should be in it.
I don't know if it fell in the.
Oh yeah, this was well before Shane.
I thought we used that last year.
Did we?
I think so. I still have the old one. We'll look later. Yeah, it's 7:20, and we'll have to hit standard because IMAX is not till 9:40, and I can't stay up that late. Unless I know I'm staying up that late. If I know I'm staying up that late, I won't get up and do cardio at 6. Oh, crud. Can't play an open if there ain't one in there. Gables in the first break.
The Gables.
No, that's not us, man.
You what?
I was talking to.
Oh yeah. Lonzo, I have two new groups of people that I hate. I'm just adding to the list that you guys made up for me.
So, Tebow, Urban Meyer, Jacksonville, old people, and babies. Did I miss something?
No, you added too many. I love Tim Tebow. He's a great human being.
Tim Tebow fans. There we go.
There you go. That's
All right.
that's still not true, but certainly more accurate. They are closer to the list. Not even Tebow fans, Tebow NFL fans. How's that? I can specify.
And,
If you are
ranch
still
ice cream. Gotta throw ranch ice cream in
The
there.
people who made that monstrosity are on the list for sure. I have two new groups of people I hate. Number one, speakerphone guy.
Not just guy. I see more women doing that.
It's the royal you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speakerphone guy.
So why are you talking louder? Because I can't hear them. Well, put the phone to your ear.
Speakerphone guy drives me up a wall. Yesterday, I went out to buy myself a shiny new tablet because Rob I love to write. I do not like to carry around legal pads all the time. So Rob went and got himself a shiny new tablet. And while I was at the electronics store to pick up my merchandise, I was standing in the aisle, and in the aisle next to me where the laptops were was I said speakerphone guy, but yep, a young lady. I would say in her 60s or so. And here's what drives me the most nuts. It's not even the conversation. The conversation was inane. It was about like picking up one of their friends to bring her to a doctor's appointment. An important conversation. I'm certainly not upset about the conversation itself. I heavily suspect that the friend or whatever she was in question was probably not super duper thrilled about her friend or relative or whatever speakerphone lady was yelling her sensitive medical information into the phone. Well, she's got a 2:30 with the podiatrist. But here's what drives me.
That sounds like an older lady. It doesn't sound like a young lady.
She was in her late 60s, maybe early 70s.
Okay. So you're being nice. That's weird. Well, why don't you just say you don't want to say yeah.
I don't have anything against old people. So she's yelling her friend or relative or whatever's sensitive medical information, and the person on the other end of the phone is responding. Yeah, she sees Dr. So-and-so. Yeah, it's at this medical facility. Yeah, the appointment's at 3:30 tomorrow or whatever it is. And I'm just like, unbelievable. Already bad enough that you're like screaming your friend or relative's medical information out into the ether. But then,
all right, Southern accent or like a New York type accent. I'm just trying to get a
standard accent.
Okay, I don't know what that here that would be Southern.
Yeah, just regular, just talks regular. Then, and this is the part that really sent me over the edge. What sent me over the edge was the lady very clearly did not have the best hearing in the world, right? And so not only is she quite literally yelling the information, and as someone who, after 15 years of being in a live rock and roll band and just about every job requiring to blast my own voice into my ears with headphones, my hearing sucks. And I can tend to get a little bit loud without realizing I'm being loud. So I'm never offended when.
So you're saying that's not on purpose?
No, I mean, yes, I'm a naturally loud person, but I also understand that sometimes I can't hear myself.
You know how you could also be hard of hearing? Sit in between Rob and Chris when they're having a conversation.
I get it. And it creates issues. I get it. So this lady very clearly already is hard of hearing and is yelling this other person's information into the phone. But then she commits the cardinal sin, Lonzo, which is she can't hear the speakerphone. So instead of taking it off of speakerphone and putting the speaker, next to your ear, the place of your body where you hear things. She raises the volume to max and holds it like this. She puts it up to her chin so that the speaker is at max volume, not pointed at her ear, and then continues to yell into a phone. Lady, if you are holding the speakerphone up to your mouth, then just go the extra 2.5 inches and put it up to your head.
Dude, this is not an age thing. I've seen some.
I see young people do it all the damn time.
Because I think they think it's cool or something to do that, and it's not. It makes no sense.
I don't understand it. The purpose of a speakerphone is so that I can set my phone down and continue the conversation while I do other activities. If it's in your hand and being held to your face, just put it to your stupid ear.
By the way, witnesses this morning, someone doing it whilst attempting to drive a car, doing 20 miles an hour to get on the freeway while there's a bunch of people behind him.
Yeah.
Well, and it was a younger dude, and I got up by him and wanted to look and see what was going on. There he was with his phone up like that. It's like, stop.
It's speakerphone. Set the phone down, and if you still can't hear it, that's on you, dog. Don't bring the rest of the world into your business. The second guy that I drew a new ire for, Lonzo. Let me begin by saying I don't have a problem with people who back into a parking spot. I have found that there is an ire drawn.
I do. I have a problem because
there's an ire drawn towards people who back into parking spots.
Yeah,
I don't have any problem.
If you're a backer, I don't get it because you're going to have to back out. I mean, it just makes no sense because backers they're not good at it. That's the thing. They'll take 10 minutes to back into a spot and then do it incorrectly.
So it's scenario specific for me, right? It's scenario. If I'm in a super crowded parking lot, if there are cars going both directions, looking to get spots or whatever, no, just pull in. All right. Don't make the rest of the world wait for you. If I pull into a lot, there's nobody else around me. Sure. I'll back in, right? I'll back in. No problem. Because yes, I got to reverse either way. But if I can, when I get in my car, just pull straight out and leave and be done with it, especially if I'm in a place that's not busy now, but I know it will be later, then I got no problem backing into the spot. But I will head down the road Lonzo has started us down. I don't have a problem with back into the parking spot, guy, as long as you can do it. At the electronics store yesterday, when I went to pick up my merchandise, I parked next to a Honda CRX that had backed into the spot. Now, the make and model of the car is irrelevant other than to tell you it was a mid-sized SUV who had backed into the spot about 68% of the way. About this much of their car, Lonzo, was sticking out in the road towards the end of the parking spot because they backed 68% of the way into the parking spot.
So was there a possibility that when they backed in, there was a car, in the other spot across from them that was over the line and they had to park that way?
I mean, is that a possibility?
Was it pretty crowded?
It's also a possibility.
Did you go down there?
In distress laying on the ground and they're like, well, let me pull him and not hit that. There's a million possibilities, right? I have reduced to some degree my ire at the people in our parking lot who park over the line. But because I have now seen with my own two beautiful, magnificent brown eyes, I have now seen other people who park here in the morning who also park over the line. And when you pull in, if the parking lot's busy and that's the only spot available, you have to shift over in order to accommodate their bad parking job. So I go, okay, like maybe there was someone parked over the line.
I will say in our parking lot, the spots are not even. Some are bigger than other ones. Whenever the company that painted the lines, they didn't do a very.
Oh, they eyeballed it.
Yeah, they did. And so there are some, like the first 3 or 4 in the door, which you want to complain about parking when we'll say Rob and some other people all decided to do that park right by the door. There's no room to get in between the vehicles to actually get into said door. And I know that you parking as close as you do in those narrow spots, no way you're getting out of that vehicle nice and easy.
I'm lazy. What do you want? So I kind of chilled out on that. I absolutely used to be the guy. Texter said, I am back into the spot guy, and I'm also parked 3 inches from your car down if you park over the line guy. I very much used to be. If your car was over the line, I pulled my car as close as I could physically get it to yours. Bonus points if it's the driver's side door. And then every time I would take a picture of my car in the line, your car over it, with your license plate in the picture. So if I came out and there was a big old dent in the side of my car, you're in trouble because you were over the line and I can prove it.
Listen, I used to, I'm skinny by no means, but I'm not as sturdy as I used to be. When I used to be extremely sturdy, I mean, well built like a truck, people would park really close to my car and I could not get out because I was so fat I couldn't get out. So people doing it. No, I have
sympathy for you.
No. I was parked in the lines and they would get right up to that line after I had already parked to a point where I could not open my door all the way. And I used to believe that I was being shamed by my size. They saw me get out and they did it on purpose, going, watch this fatso try to get out of his car. And at the time, I was driving a Hyundai Excel, if I recall, which made me look like a certain cartoon character. But anyway.
Peter Griffin?
No,
okay.
No, not that bad. Mr. Incredible.
Fair enough.
Was more, yeah.
So I've kind of chilled off on I'm going to park as close as like quantum scale possible to your car.
So you've matured. You've gotten older and realized that was kind of petty and maybe you shouldn't have done that.
Sure, like maybe a little. But if you back into a spot and 33% of your car is still sticking out in the driveway, get a new spot.
Admittedly,
get a new spot.
I have a large front end. And I didn't have a vehicle that had that for a while because I drove like minivans and stuff forever because I was in a band and I had kids. And so now I misjudge on occasion. If I get out and I see that I didn't pull up enough, I will get back in the car and pull it up.
Texters, yeah. If your car's sticking 30% out in the road, then it's not a parking spot anymore. All right, that's not a parking spot. It's just not available to you. And if you leave your car like that, you're a jerk. That's just it. Texter said, hell yeah, LMAO. I watched some have to crawl into her car from the passenger side. Then I hopped in and pulled off when she finally got in. I would be lying to you to tell you I've never done that before.
I knew they were out there. I knew they were.
100%. I used to be one of them. Now, if I watch you park over the line, like if I watch you park over the line and there's no reason for it, I will absolutely still do that. I will pull as close to your door as I possibly can, and then I will document your driver's or your license plate number so I know who's getting it afterwards if you hit me. If I don't see it happen, I'm a little less likely now, but that guy sucks. Texter said, in my neighborhood, these people, if they don't park in the driveway, they park in the road. This is me off. There is a guy in my neighborhood in Taylor, South Carolina, who parks his big red pickup truck in the road every night. But here's the problem I have. If you park with 2 tires on the grass and 2 on the road and you're in a neighborhood, okay, I can live with that. Not everybody has a big driveway. I get that. This guy, Lonzo, parks his truck where you would be driving if you were driving in that lane.
Yeah, I
pull your tires in the grass, you absolute boathead.
I do have a little bit of problem with people getting these bigger trucks and not knowing how to drive them or park them. And I guess it's a status symbol. I don't see why you need a truck that big unless you're like hauling freight or something. But I mean, you know, if you want to look big amongst your peers, that's fine. But just learn how to drive it and how to park it. I mean, you know.
Texter said, what about on the phone? What about the on the phone in the bathroom stall guy? LOL. There is one person in this building who is that guy who will have a full sale phone conversation while he's in the stall, right? While he's in the stall, like he is doing his business, dropping the Browns off at the Super Bowl and has a wholesale phone conversation. I have heard him do it one time, many moons ago, with the GM of the station. And I'm like, guy, What happens if you rip one of those unnatural, unholy sounds that I have heard you make in the bathroom before while you're on the phone? And you're in the bathroom, which is the sound amplification room of choice. What if, yeah, boss, I ran those numbers for you and
Here's the thing. If you are that person, and I know who you're talking about, you're talking to someone who knows where you are and what you're doing. And more than likely, if you let one go, they're going to laugh about it.
you better hope. You better hope. I'll never get that guy either. Texter said, I'm passive aggressive guy. I'll hop onto your speakerphone conversation. Then I'll tell you, put the phone next to your ear if you don't want my opinion. I can tell you one time.
How's that passive aggressive? That's aggressive.
That's straight aggressive.
People don't understand the difference between passive aggressive and aggressive.
Passive aggressive is if you started making sounds over the phone, right? Like if they're on the speakerphone and you're two chairs back or whatever, and you start making random sounds, that's passive aggressive. If you start talking in their conversation, that's just regular aggressive. And by the way, I wish I had the rocks that you had to do it. I've done it one time to somebody. Now, if I know you and you have, I'll tell you one I did the other day. We were at a hockey game, and the seductive voice of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, Mark Shelley, was on a speakerphone call. Now, he was working, right? He's pregame, and he's got his notes, and he's writing, and he's setting up his broadcast booth and all that. And I walked in his booth, and he's on the speakerphone. And I don't know who he was talking to. I was like 95% convinced it was his wife. I didn't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it was. And I walked in and didn't announce I was there. And over his speakerphone, I went, Mark, come back to bed.
See, that's wrong. That's just wrong, right?
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Now, if I know you weren't near the speakerphone, you're catching something. Mark, come back to bed.
All you really have to do is just walk in the room talking, and they're probably
Mark, do you like my lingerie? Right? Because I know one of two things is happening. Either she's going to go, tell Rob I said hi, or I'm causing a problem for that guy. But you kind of did it to yourself.
Dude, that's like going against the bro code and stuff.
No, that is the bro code.
I don't know.
That is the bro code. All right, let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute, I promised them to you here, but honestly, what's more important? My MLB divisional projections or me adding people I hate to the hate list?
Yeah, I
feel like the hate list
I was going to say the hate list is very important to all of us.
Yeah. I feel like we nothing brings us all together like hatred of stupid people.
I am curious how many people who are listening right now or on the stream find yourself on Rob's list. Let us know.
If you are speakerphone guy, you're on the list.
Text line 71307.
You're on the list. All right. I'm not shying away from this. I'll tell you to your face. Let's take a break. MLB divisional projections. It's opening day, y'all. We'll hit those when we come back on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Gables.
Got a live read here, guys. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about our friends at the Gables on Pelham. They are a continuum care retirement community. They are one of only 4 in the upstate. So if you or someone that you love is getting to a point in their life where they know that they are going to need to head to a retirement community, I want you to check out the Gables on Pelham at thegablesonpelham.com. One of only 4 CCRCs. You got to get special accreditations to make this happen. That means they have assisted living, memory care, rehabilitation, and skilled nursing all under one roof. And as one of only 4 in the upstate, they have the best value in the upstate for it. Not only do they have an MD at the community 2 days every week, so you know your loved one will not be waiting for weeks and weeks for care. They will get the care they need when they need it. But they also offer physical therapy, speech therapy, and occupational therapy all right there in the building. Their therapists work out of the building versus
he has stepped down. He's identified his replacement as a local rabbit who has been seen frequenting the area Ingles Market in recent days. He has been stocking up on Ingles beef candy.
Thanks for the alert about sound. Wasn't me, but I fixed it.
Upstate Warrior Solutions and
And somebody reversed how the mouse works. And so I have to move the mouse a different direction because the monitor in front of me used to be the first monitor, but they've switched it to where the monitor to the right is that monitor. So I have to, you know how if you're playing a video game, you reverse the axis, that sort of I got to, yeah, it's. So the moral to the story is if other people work somewhere, stop changing stuff because it's not all about you. But you know, what you see the picture that was just tweeted? Oh no, yeah, that's messed up. Look at your Twitter though.
That's so funny, Zach. Bravo, that's funny. Golly. It's unfair. I wish I could come up with something that funny. See,
they're both within the lines. I mean, you could say the red truck is a little bit over, but that's messed up.
I mean, look, when you buy, and I'm in the market for a truck. When you buy a big ass truck,
Rob looking to buy him a truck.
I don't want a monster truck.
Daggum
I
truck.
want a mid-sized truck. If anybody knows anybody selling some vehicles, Rob's in the market and hates car shopping.
Rob wants something where he can hang his hats and his guns and haul something off if he needs to.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Major League Baseball's opening day, baby. Let's talk baseball, shall we? As we get the season underway today, MLB schedule gets its start this afternoon. We will open up play today. First pitch is going to be your Atlanta Braves on the road, opening up the NL East at Washington. That game at 1:05. Couple of aces going at it today. Max Fried versus Patrick Corbin should be a phenomenal pitching matchup. Also at 1:05, the AL East champs New York Yankees take on the San Francisco Giants in Yankee Stadium. Really good one in this one as well. Logan Webb versus Garrett Cole. Can Garrett Cole have a rebound season? Started very shaky last year. Really got into it with the sticky stuff discussion. Garrett, do you doctor the baseball? I don't know how to answer that, which is the worst possible answer.
You know, if you're going,
still love that clip.
If you're going to cheat at something like that, be a better liar.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I mean, you
already broke the rule.
Yeah, you're already going down that path. So, I mean, you know.
I love guy who will cheat but doesn't have it to lie about it. Did you cheat? I don't know how to answer that. I do. Lie. Lie better and lie harder.
I just want to point out, I'm not encouraging cheating nor lying. But if you're going to cheat and you're that kind of guy, then you might as well go ahead and lie.
Yeah. 2:10, Baltimore's at Boston. 2:20, Milwaukee at the Chicago Cubs. 3:10, Detroit at Tampa Bay. Just after 4 o'clock, Philly and Texas. Minnesota and Kansas City at 410. So is the Mets at the Marlins, the Pirates at the Reds, and the Blue Jays at the Cardinals. That's one of the better matchups today. Toronto at St. Louis. White Sox at the Stros at 7 p.m. That one's going to be on the 4-letter. Colorado is at San Diego. I like the Padres this year. That one at 9:40. And then Eastern time for the loss. The LA Angels at the Oakland Athletics at 10:07 first pitch. A 10:10 first pitch for the Diamondbacks at the Dodgers, and the Cleveland Guardians open up their season on the road at the Mariners. That one is at 10:10 tonight. Shane Bieber versus Luis Castillo in that one. That's another aces match.
Will the Guardians ever become normal?
Bum, 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 bum.
It's the Cleveland Guardians. Okay.
We are Guardians. No, it's not. It's not. Let us, ladies and gentlemen, make some predictions, shall we? Let's go divisional predictions across Major League Baseball. And we will start with the AL East. This one is not the easiest division to prognosticate, but I am going to go with the Yankees in this. I like the Yankees. I like what they did last year with Aaron Judge. In the midst of a phenomenal power lineup, Garrett Cole going to the hill shows you that this rotation is going to be better than it was last year. And on top of that, I just think that you are looking at a team that kind of figured it out last year, right? This is a Yankees team that I think last year was so close to being the AL champions, and they've only gotten better. They did age across the rotation a little bit. And the Blue Jays are going to be very good. This is about a 50-50 split for me. I almost went Toronto in this. I loved the Jays last year, but the Jays just didn't have the clutch gene late in the season. Did they get good enough to catch New York? I don't know. I do know that Tampa, Baltimore, and Boston are all going to be struggling. I like the O's. The O's had a young lineup last year. Tampa Bay, well, they have 2 back-to-back 100-win seasons, threatened it again last year. And Randy Arozarena has absolutely come into his own as one of the best players in baseball. I really like the Rays, but the Rays just got boat raced at the end of last year when they were supposed to be in contention. I can't trust them to have a bounce back. Give me the Yanks. In the Central, this is one of the more, I guess, interesting races in baseball. It's either the Guardians or the Twins this year. The Guardians last year felt like a really good team that just had zero experience in being able to play late into the season. I think they got it, and I think they're going to be good this year. The Twins are going to hit the ball well. They're going to be probably one of the better small ball teams in all of Major League Baseball this year, but I like the Guardians. The single most disappointing team in baseball last year was the Chicago White Sox. That was Cody Decker's AL World Series team. And to watch his increasing frustration of a good Tim Anderson-led lineup that repeatedly and consistently got coached and managed into mediocrity was hilarious to me as a guy who did not pick the White Sox to win the ALCS. They're not going to do any better than third in this division. I got Kansas City, and after them, Detroit has just aged themselves out of contention. And in the AL West, ladies and gentlemen, I really want the LA Angels of Anaheim to be good. Shohei Ohtani is the best player to ever walk planet Earth. I am more and more convinced of that. Michael Trout does not have the clutch gene in him, at least not that he's displayed so far. Cumulatively, the guy considered the best hitter in baseball, Mike Trout, and the best overall player in baseball, Shohei Ohtani, have 1 playoff appearance and 0 playoff wins to show between them. How do I expect that they're better this year? I got Houston winning the West again, and give me the Seattle Mariners to chase them down. I love the Mariners, led by Julio. This is a fun young team that decided to go old school and build themselves up the way that, for instance, the Atlanta Braves used to do. This is a team that has decided to go youth, invest from within. It has worked out so far. I like Seattle to outpace the Angels down the stretch in the AL West. Over in the NL Central, we'll start there and we'll save the NL East for last. In the NL Central, I think it's got to be the Cardinals, right? I think it's got to be the Cardinals. I think St. Louis, led by Paul Goldschmidt, your NL MVP from last year, is that team. I think rotationally, they've probably got one of the best 5 or 6 rotations in all of baseball. And on top of that, everybody in that division, with the exception of Milwaukee, stinks. The Reds are no good. The Pirates are no good. The Cubs improved. They made a couple of free agent acquisitions, bringing in Dansby Swanson. I think they overpaid Dansby. That's predominantly the reason that Dansby Swanson's not a Brave, because he wanted like elite level money, and he is very good. I was a big fan of the Dansbomb, but Dansby just goes on these streaks where the bat goes cold, and he has had some very questionable defensive games. I think Chicago overpaid on Dansby and underpaid a few other places. They're not quite there. I think the Brewers are going to win a bunch of games. That's a 82-83 win team. They're a team that will be well over 500 when it's all said and done. But I just don't trust Milwaukee in the face of the St. Louis Cardinals. Out in the Central, give me the Redbirds. In the West, this division is going to be fun. Why? Because it has been the Dodgers division for a long time. The Dodgers have been heartbreakers in the NL West. But I think the Padres have found something for them. I think the Padres have put something together. I think the Padres are going to be one of the best teams in baseball, and probably one that I was going to say nobody talks about, but I think they're going to be talked about. They've got a good enough rotation. Yu Darvish 1, Musgrove 2, Blake Snell 3, Michael Wacha 4, Nick Martinez 5. It's not awful. They're gonna give up a lot of hits outside of Yu Darvish, but a lot of small ball. And they have assembled an exceptional defense. Austin Nola behind the dish. Jake Cronenworth at first, Manny Machado at third, Xander Bogaerts moving over into the shortstop position. And how about the outfield of Juan Soto, Trent Grisham, and Fernando Tatis Jr., assuming he can still play post the PED controversy that got him suspended for the back half of last year. They're going to have an excellent outfield. I think the Padres have a real chance to shock some people this year. I am going to jump on the bandwagon and take the San Diego Padres to end up winning the NL West. So let's go to the East. The NL East is a 3-horse race. And I got to be real with you here. I'm having a hard time picking the order that they finish in. I got Philadelphia finishing third. I don't like the Phillies or anything about Philadelphia sports. As a team, I like them. It's a good team. The addition of Trey Turner gives you a guy to bat 1 or 2 that's going to be on base as much as anybody else in Major League Baseball. You put Schwarber and his bombs lined up behind them. I think the Philadelphia Phillies have quietly organized one of the best 1-9 lineups in baseball. Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, Tejon Walker, Ranger Suarez. As the starting 4 of any rotation go, that's about as good as you can ask for. J.L. Realmuto, as long as he doesn't get tossed for the cardinal sin of moving a glove. Realmuto is one of the most consistent hitting catchers in baseball. Alec Bohm is still on that team. Nick Castellanos is going to be a DH this year. If you're a Philly fan, you're hoping for bad things to happen. Because every time something bad thing happens in the world, Nick Castellanos goes yard during the discussion about it. The Phillies are going to be good. The problem I have with Philadelphia is the two teams ahead of them that have organized an even better team, the Braves and the Mets. Those two teams are both going to threaten 100 wins. I don't think the Braves or the Mets get to 100 this year, right? Last year, they both did. The Braves were down, 13, 14 games at one point before they came barnstorming back, got a little help from the Mets, choking it out, and the Braves took the division again. I am back and forth on the Mets and the Braves, and I am picking the Braves to win the division. Lineup-wise, the Mets and the Braves, I think, are both going to have a lot of similarity. They've got really good contact hitters up front. Atlanta with Ozzie Albies, Orlando Arcia, who can have runs of good bats. Eddie Rosario starting in left. Ronnie Acuna is hopefully and supposedly healthy for the first time since 2019. Fully healthy for the first time since 2019. Ozuna, don't like him as a person. Love him as a DH. Austin Riley, a breakout player last year. If he continues that momentum, he's going to be very good. Matt Olson was the best you could do replacing Freddie Freeman, both at first base and in the lineup. The question mark for the Braves is going to be the back end of the rotation for them. Max Fried is very good. Spencer Strider, the only guy who beat him out for Rookie of the Year last year was his own teammate, Michael Harris II, who, by the way, is back in center field and in the lineup for the Braves. So the reigning, defending, undisputed NL Rookie of the Year is your center fielder, and the guy he barely beat out for that award will be on the bump today for Atlanta as one in the rotation. My question is, Charlie Morton at third in the rotation, up there in age, started having some control issues last year. Can he get it back? Kyle Wright starting the season off on the 15-day DL. Will he be able to come back from that and play with good form? And Jared Schuster locked in as the 5 spot. The back half of the rotation for the Braves concerns me. But Atlanta, I truly believe, also may very well have the best bullpen in baseball this year. And that's why they get the edge. Offensively, the Braves are good enough to get to any pitcher in the National League. Any pitcher in the NL. And I include Scherzer on that list. The problem the Mets just had is that Edwin Diaz went down in the World Baseball Classic. Probably the best closer in baseball. A guy that is responsible for a fistful of saves throughout the course of the year. You don't get him this year. You don't get Diaz because he is now out for the season, having to have reconstructive knee surgery after that celebration at the WBC. That is a bigger loss for the Mets than I think they account for. Max Scherzer on the bump today for the Mets. They'll follow him up with Justin Verlander. They'll third him up with Cody Senga. That's a great 1, 2, 3. Carlos Carrasco, David Peterson probably give the Mets a little bit of an edge in terms of the 4-5 spot in the rotation. Losing Diaz is big. Pete Alonso, excellent first baseman, great hitter. Backed up by Daniel Vogelbach, the sturdiest man in pro baseball. Love that guy. Jeff McNeil showed out in the WBC. Eduardo Escobar, Francisco Lindor. Maybe the best infield in the National League this year. Brendan Nemo, Starling Marte out there in center and left respectively. A very, very good outfield. They got Tommy Pham waiting in the wings to step in as well. Vogelbach as your DH unless they need him out on the diamond. The Mets are very good, but I think the bullpen, specifically late in the season, gives Atlanta an advantage when these two offenses are right about even with each other. So I am going to go, and I don't know how much of this is my heart versus my brain, but I think my brain did a pretty good job rationalizing Atlanta to win the NL East. If they win it, it's going to be by like half a game or a game, right? It's going to be by the last day, closing day, could very well come down to the Braves and the Mets, winner wins the division. I love these two teams. I think the NL East, if I got to place a power ranking on divisions most likely to send a team to the World Series, the Braves and the Mets are both going to the playoffs. That's not a question to me. The only question is who's got to go on the road? Who's got to win a road schedule? And to me, the answer is probably the Mets. I think the Phillies are a very good lock to be a wild card team. I think the NL East could very well send 3 teams to the playoffs. I think the Braves, the Mets, the Phillies could all reasonably end up in a playoff spot, maybe both wild cards, who know. I could see the NL East having 3 90-game winners. I don't think it has a 100-game winner in it, predominantly because of the fact that those 3 teams are going to split games pretty evenly top to bottom, start to finish. But the NL East probably has the best odds to send a team to the World Series in all of Major League Baseball. Remember, coming up in, 16 days? 2 weeks and a couple of days? Bet for the Cycle returns. Myself, Cody Decker, Hayden S. Mario walk you all the way through every single Major League Baseball gambling weekend and the season as a whole. All right. Now's a really good opportunity for you to jump on the radio broadcast. If you would like to, you can get on board the GilstrapFamilyDealerships.com phone line, and you can do it right this second. The number for the GilstrapFamilyDealerships.com phone line is 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-FAN-FONE. That's 844-326-3663. The GilstrapFamilyDealerships.com phone line is open for you. You can also text us at 71307. 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. I want your divisional predictions for Major League Baseball. Opening day is today. In fact, we are, 2.5 hours away from first pitch of the 2023 MLB season? Hit me with your divisional projections now. We're back after this to talk a little baseball and wrap up hour 2 of the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Rob Brown Show, what do you want to talk about? Okay, Joey, what do you want to talk about? All right, hang on.
Future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-932-8603 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low.
Yes, I came back and then I'm not saying anything. Sorry.
You will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-932-8603. That's 800-932-8603. What do you have to lose? Call 800-932-8603. Again, 800-932-8603.
I had a nighttime routine for my favorite heartburn. I would drink milk. I would sleep upright with warm pillows. But that painful burning stayed.
You ever had that
Looks like OTC part of
urge to prank someone, but you don't because you don't want to start that war? Like putting a doorstop, you know, in front of the door so someone can't get in the door. These doors are notoriously heavy. This one's not as heavy as the one for Word for some reason. And there's another one on the side, on the other side of the building. I think it's the Classic Rock 101 door, which makes me wonder how Stoneman gets in there. Because I mean, it's very, very heavy. But I don't know what Rob's prank game is like. And I know it would escalate into jump scares, and that would ruin the show like every day. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Doesn't mean I can't think about it though. I mean, you know.
Or you could not do that, and that would be cool too, you know.
Well, James, it's the first time you heard it because
It
just started today. Yeah.
The James Gilstrap phone line.
So we were in Times Square.
Taking selfies with all the lights.
I bought a shot glass.
I bought a snow globe at this little shop.
You know, I collect those.
Then we grabbed a slice at this super secret spot. It smells a bit funky outside.
I heard they don't have alleys.
They don't have alleys. They certainly have people. Lots of people.
When everyone's vacation sounds the same, it's time for something different. Go on a real vacation.
Go RVing.
Vacation.
You ever been RVing, Rob?
Been RVing.
I've never been RVing.
Fun,
I've been camping before, but I've never been RVing. I don't think I know anyone who has an RV.
Wrapping up hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen.
Would you forget where you were for a moment there?
It's like promo number 1. Like sometimes you just gotta give it a moment to breathe. You know, you gotta give it a moment to breathe. So I gave it a moment to breathe. That's all. Speaking of breathing, if you are waiting with bated breath for the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks Final Four game, well, do I have great news for you? That game will air live right here and only on the Fan Upstate tomorrow evening. So if you are going to be pulling for your Naismith Memorial Trophy Defensive Player of the Year, that would be Miss Aaliyah Boston. If you are going to be pulling for your Naismith Memorial Coach of the Year winner, that, of course, would be the head coach of the Gamecocks, Miss Dawn Staley, you will be able to hear their names called, I assume, very frequently, as they take on Caitlin Clark.
Who?
You're the Naismith Memorial Trophy Player of the Year award winner.
So, okay.
The best player in college basketball on the women's side this year, Caitlin Clark. According to the awards.
Well, they had to give it to somebody, I guess. I mean, you know.
They did indeed have to give it to somebody.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they're undefeated like the South Carolina Gamecocks. I mean, you know, no losses, period.
Caitlin Clark's very, very good at basketball, but so is Aaliyah Boston.
And if you are a member of the Armada having to work late and you can't get home to watch the TV, we got you covered because you're already listening to the station anyway. You get to hear the game live and spectacular as the Gamecocks have another awesome victory.
Yes, indeed. I got it. Like I said, I'm going South Carolina like minus 16.5. Here is the only thing I will say about it. Okay. The only thing I can say about it that gives me pause is this. Iowa is just as chaotic as Maryland, but more talented, right? Maryland had South Carolina in a place they're not used to being in the first half of the Elite Eight game, the regional final. And the difference, aside from the fact that Iowa is more talented than Maryland, but every bit as frantic, is that Iowa will not be flying in the face of a Bon Secours Wellness Arena full of garnet and black. This will be a neutral site game because Iowa will travel relatively well. And I know South Carolina will too. I got no doubt there's going to be a few thousand Gamecocks up in the house in Texas tomorrow night. I got no doubt tomorrow night on the Fan Upstate, when you hear that Final Four game live and in living color, you will be able to hear a Gamecocks over the radio speakers. But it will not be what it was at the Well. So can the Gamecocks, without that much adrenaline behind them in the form of 20,000 strong wearing the black and garnet, be able to overcome the frantic pace and sharp shooting of Caitlin Clark and the Hawkeyes? You can find out by listening to that game live tomorrow right here on the Fan Upstate. When we come back, got about 3 more stories I want to run through. Then we go to an extended edition of Fight Club with Lonzo. It's WrestleMania weekend. So you know we got a card to break down. That's all coming up on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Get down with it.
Get down with what?
It.
What is it?
It, my man.
No, what is it?
You already know what it is.
I wanted it all, Rob, and I found out I couldn't have it.
You want it all? You want it all? You want it all?
I want it, but what is it?
It, man.
I don't know if we're doing the same thing.
I was doing Queen.
Yeah, and I was doing a different song. Yes.
You don't want it all?
No, I was still talking about it. You know, you want it all, but you can't have it. It's in your face, but you can't grab it. Don't you hate when you know a song and then suddenly the band's name just kind of disappears because Rob mentioned Queen and now I can't think of the band's name? Think they're basically a one-hit wonder and the fish is like flopping at the end of the video? Daggone it.
I want it all. I want it all. I want it all. I want it now.
Faith No More. Daggone it.
So embarrassing.
Well, I mean, in fairness, how many hits did Faith No More have? Yeah, it was a really big song. Yeah, I mean,
Uno.
thank you, Trey. Epic. I just, for some reason, it just left my head. I think it's because even though
it sticks to the thing.
Wow, it's magnetic. I think it's because when I hear Queen, I think of the worst Queen song ever created, and it's Rob and Chris's favorite song, and it bothers me because how can anyone say that's their favorite Queen song? No, I don't know the name of the title of the song.
Don't stop me.
That's it.
That's
it. This is the lamest Queen song ever.
Don't stop me now. If you want to have a good time, just give me a call. Don't stop me now.
How can that be your favorite
Don't
song
stop
when
me
Queen
now.
had so
Having
many
a good
hits,
time.
including
Having a
Bicycle?
good time.
Bicycle is so much better than that. Bicycle is superior to that song. And it's talking about
Laws of
bicycles.
gravity.
I did this to myself. No, I did it to you, and I apologize to you, dear listeners.
He's not sorry.
I'm more sorry for me. I really am, because after the show's over, he'll still do this in the office.
Don't stop me. No, I don't have a laptop.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
I wouldn't stay today anyway. I will work from home because the Braves play, baby.
Which is technically working from home watching baseball. So, I mean,
That's not unfair.
not like he couldn't watch it in the office because we have cable in there.
Not on cable.
Ah, okay. Never mind then. Thank you, James. So you guys like Don't Stop Me Now too. I guess
Everyone likes Don't Stop Me Now.
no, everyone doesn't. That's generalizing to a great degree.
What percentage of people have to like a thing where you feel comfortable saying everyone?
Well, I'll say right now in this room, only 50% like it.
Right, but of the people participating in this conversation, like 90% of them like it.
Just like 4 people commenting. That's not 90%. That's 75. 4, including you and me. So there's 2 commenting, me and you. That's, split into 25s there. That's 75% like it. 25% don't. And the 25% that don't is right. It is a blight on Queen's all the songs they put out. See, they just like it because Shaun of the Dead.
I don't care why you like it. It's a great song.
See, it's not a great song. It's as MJF would say, mid, big time mid.
In the world, turn it inside out. Yeah.
Ugh.
Floating around in ecstasy. So don't stop me now.
Could you go back to singing Baby Shark?
Don't stop me because I'm having a good time. Having a good time. I'm a shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, which is a great line. Defying the laws of gravity. I'm a racing car passing on by like Lady Godiva. I'm gonna go. There's no stopping me. Burning through the sky, yeah. 200 degrees, that's why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit.
Here's how I'm going to counter this. Fight Club's going to be 25 minutes of Logan Paul talk.
Don't stop me now, because I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball.
Thank God we're almost back on the air so we can stop singing.
If you want to have a good time, just give me a call. Don't stop me now.
Thank you, noise canceling headphones. I know, right? Exactly. Vengeance will be mine, though.
Because I'm having a good time. I don't want to stop at all.
I do agree with a texter on the stream who says that's workplace harassment. It is.
200 degrees, that's why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit. Traveling at the speed of light, I want to make a supersonic woman of you. Don't Stop Me Now is a banger.
Worst Queen song of all time.
You know what happens if you play it like 8 times in a row? Banger after banger after banger after banger.
I would say someone throws up, but that's just me.
After banger after banger after banger. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Third the Final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes right now. This is the Fan Upstate. I am Rob Brown, the great one. Alonzo on the other side of the metaphorical glass hates Queen. It's unbelievable.
I do not hate Queen. I hate that song. That is not their best song. Fat Bottom Girls, superior to that. Let's see, Bicycle, superior to that.
My favorite song. There's a difference. I'm not arguing.
Another one bites
the
dust, superior to that.
I didn't say it was their best. I said it was my favorite.
Where did that chart, by the way? I'm just curious.
I don't care.
I have to look that up. Well, charting is all that matters. Okay.
What haters like you of the band Queen like and don't like. They're great.
I will have my vengeance eventually. You won't see it coming, but when it does, you'll know why.
You know what it is? You know where your vengeance comes from? every now and then, like Zoe and I, when we get off the air, neither one of us is a silent worker. We both have to have some kind of noise going, right? Even at night when I go to sleep, I got to
tell you, I don't think there's anybody in the building that's a silent worker.
I don't think so. I think
except for that one guy who turns down the radio when they go to the restroom.
That's
I
weird.
just did not get that.
Zoe and I are silent workers. And basically the game has been like, I'll go in there. If I put something on, Zoe comes in, listens to whatever. If I don't, he puts on whatever. Every now and then, Zoe's Spotify will drop some anime theme song in Japanese. And I have no clue what the hell I'm listening to. None at all. That's Don't Stop Me Now. I'm like, it's good. It's fine. It's got a great sound to it. But like, it's never going to show up when I'm in control of the music. It's just not. Let's get some football stuff in here. Because coming up in the next 7 minutes, Fight Club with Alonzo talking WrestleMania. Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk was on the only place where news breaks anymore, ladies and gentlemen, the Pat McAfee show yesterday. Pat McAfee said that, quote, I think sooner than later, we're going to have Tuesday night football. We're going to have Wednesday night football. It's going to be, hopefully, in my lifetime, a 7-day-a-week primetime event. There's too much money to be made. I would love to have football on every night of the week. It would be nice to have a night or two off, like Friday night and Saturday night would be nice, but I'd be fine with Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, I love that Mike said it would be, I would love to have football every night of the week, ... It would be nice to have a night or two off. Those are different things, Michael. You can't have it every day of the night, every day of the week, and also a night or two off. Now, I am going to say that, Zoe, I am adamantly anti-Friday night NFL football. That is the one night, if you asked me to pay, if you said 6 nights a week, you can pick the one that there's no NFL football, it would be Friday night. Both because I don't want to take away from the high school kids that are still balling out under the bright lights on Friday nights, and the incredibly seductive play-by-play callers of the nation of high school football. But also it's Friday night. And during the football season, that's the night
apparently you got to get down on Friday.
Got to get down on Friday. What seat should I take? Said the great philosopher Rebecca Black. Anyway, 7 nights a week. No.
Yeah, it's too much. I mean,
from
even
the football, from the NFL guys, that's too much.
It takes away from you're waiting to get till Thursday. If there's a good game, you're waiting to get till Thursday. Then you're waiting to get till Sunday. And then near the end of the season, college football is over. But you know what? They moved a couple NFL games to Saturday. It's kind of a big deal. It's only for a couple weeks, and it lets you know what time of year it is. Once you make it every day of the week, it kind of it hurts the product, I think.
I think that so first off, let me add to what Florio had to say there. Florio said that part of the way that this develops is it comes after the NFL expands further, right? He said, quote, I think they're going to start moving that number from 32 in time to 34, 36, 38, eventually 40. Quarterbacks is the key. Is there ever going to be enough quarterbacks to have 40 NFL teams? But I think that would be the ultimate maximum number. He also said that he believes an 18th NFL regular season game will come down the pipe. And the justification there, he said, quote, when it comes to the inventory, 18 games is the most they're going to get away with. So if you want to increase the total number of games you can have, so you can have Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and at some point you need more teams to get more games. If the money's there to be made by the owners, they'll deal with it, end quote. Let's start with this. I don't think that the quality of football, scratch that. The quality of football may come down some, predominantly because obviously you're spreading the talent across a wider pool, right? If there's only, let's say, 8 elite quarterbacks, that means there's, 24 teams that do not have an elite quarterback. Just because you increase the number of NFL teams from 32 to 40, we're going to stick a team in London. We're going to stick a team in Mexico City. We're going to stick a team in San Antonio, Oklahoma City, wherever. That doesn't mean you're going to increase the number of elite level quarterbacks. It just means there's going to be more teams without one, right? And then you think about every other position. Let's say there's 21 elite defensive linemen in football spread across 32 teams. Now they're spread across 40. The talent's not going to get better. Just the places they can play will get better. Now, as a football tactician, I love that. I love watching coaches have to figure out how to do more with less. I think that is the administrative side of this would be really entertaining for me. But I also know that I'm in a vast minority of dorks who enjoy watching coaches do more with less as opposed to watching teams do more with more.
So you play like coaches mode on?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
I bought years ago, and it's my favorite game. I still own a copy of it, but years ago, and I want to say it was I don't remember. They made an NFL game, Lonzo, that you did not play football. You were only the head coach.
If I recall, it didn't sell very well.
It did not sell well because there were 14 of us who thought, that's awesome. Love that. Like you designed your own roster, you designed your own plays. Every week you did film study to determine what your playbook was going to look like for that week. I loved it. I was fascinated by it, but I'm also a huge geek, so I get it. Football fans want fewer great teams rather than more average teams. That being said, Florio also hit on, what did I tell you back in the first hour when we were talking about the expansion or non-expansion of Thursday Night Football? At the end of the day, whether the NFL does or does not do a thing is based on what?
That would be money, Rob.
It's correct, Johnny. Tell him what he's won. Money. If they believe that Apple TV, in order to compete with Amazon having the deal for Thursday Night Football, if Apple TV will put up a bill to own the rights to Tuesday and Wednesday Night Football, guess what days are coming down the pipe? Tuesday and Wednesday Night Football. Now they'll have to give some pushback to the Players Association because they're going to complain about it, right? They're not going to love that. All right, here's the deal. If you draw a Tuesday, Wednesday night game, it is always guaranteed to be coming off of the bye, right? If you're going to play a Tuesday night game, you will be doing it coming off of the bye. Every team that plays a Tuesday night will be playing it off the bye. Whatever. I don't know what it's going to look like. I wouldn't be shocked by this. But you're going to have the same number of elite players, right? It's not like you're going to create more elite players for this. You're going to have the same number of elite players, but they are going to be spread further out across the league. Now, that could very well, Lonzo, it could bring more teams back down to average, right? Because where there's not guaranteed money right now, so some teams who are really, really good about drafting elite players like Kansas City, some teams who are really, really good at managing the cap and digging themselves out of a hole every year like the Saints, now all of a sudden when money gets guaranteed and you can't spread it out as far without, guaranteed money, those teams might come back to the pack just a little bit. And now we go from 4 or 5 or 6 elite teams to maybe 1, maybe 2 elite teams per week or per season. And there's a lot more really good teams because the talent spread. I don't know. I don't know how it shapes out. All I know is this is real simple. If the NFL decides that there are 2 or 4 or 6 or 8 markets that would bring more profit to the league's going to expand. If the league decides, you know what, instead of with 38 teams playing in the NFL, right? What if instead of having 15 games on Sunday, 1 on Monday, 1 on Thursday, during the college season, none on Saturday, and 15 on Sunday, what if we just said bleep college football and did a Saturday night NFL game every week? And we could sell that to a streaming company. Bleep the high school kids. Let's play a Friday night game. We can sell that. And bleep the NFL players. Let's do a Monday and a Tuesday night game. So now we got Monday, Tuesday, or a Tuesday, Wednesday night game. Now we got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and a full slate on Sunday all covered up because we added 8 more teams. By adding 8 more teams, you can keep the same number of Sunday games, but add games on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If they believe they put together a plan that brings in revenue, they're absolutely going to do it. There's no question. That's not a question of if, that's a question of when. So, again, I hate to do this because it feels like it's relatively anticlimactic. But if you get to the point where you wonder, why would the NFL do this? It's very simple. Money.
Do you believe it's going to happen? Because I don't. I believe it's a lot of talk. They're not going to do this because the players, there's no way that they would agree to this.
Sure there was. You ready for how I get the players on board?
What, are they going to up the salary cap so they can get more money?
I up the salary cap, and I make one more thing. Now, it's going to change how contracts work, but it is something that the players will be all on board for. You ready? Here's the deal. You let us expand to 40, and you let us have games every night of the week, and every contract is guaranteed from now on. Every contract is guaranteed. When we sign you at the beginning of the year, now, the prices on those contracts may or may not come down, right? Where you may have made a $17 million contract with $15 million worth of incentives. So you had the possibility to get it up to 32 for the season based on your performance. Now, instead, you might sign a $21 million contract, but it is fully guaranteed. You will be getting paid week in, week out, regardless of your performance, regardless of injury status. You will be getting guaranteed money from the day you sign the contract till the day it terminates itself. I guarantee you the players that sign that. Guarantee the players that sign that.
Yeah. What is the percentage you think that'll ever happen? With all the guaranteed, with the problems we're having right now with a Lamar getting signed, which supposedly has a lot to do with guaranteed
100%.
contracts.
It's all about guaranteed contracts. It's the one reason Arthur Blank can come out all he wants and say injury concerns, and we don't know if we get the whole reason they don't want to sign Lamar is they're not going to give him $215 fully guaranteed, right? They don't want to do that. They want to give him $100 million fully guaranteed for 6 years with $115 in incentives and signing bonuses tacked on that they can structure and move around and potentially not pay the guy down the line, right? So no, there's about a 0% shock in all this to me. But if the contracts become fully guaranteed, while you probably would not see another $250 million contract, Lamar could get 185 fully guaranteed for 5 years. And he'd sign that, right? So all that being said, do I think it'll happen? It depends 100% on one solitary thing, Zoe. Do the owners believe if they go to 40 and they put together a package that makes them a profit start to finish, if they believe more money will come in than go out with this plan going into effect, hell yeah, they're going to chase that dragon. No questions asked, no doubt about it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break. It's Thursday. You know what that means. Coming up next, as we prepare for the showcase of the Immortals, the greatest show on earth, WrestleMania. Lonzo and I will work the card from Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes all the way down and give you our winners and losers. That's next on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
You know, I looked that up, James, because I'm curious. But it can be said pipe or pike either way. But apparently the proper way is pike.
For what?
You coming down the pike.
Oh, coming.
Or
yeah,
the
like
pipe.
turnpike.
Yeah, well, some people say coming down the pipe.
I'm not going to lie to you. I always thought it was pipe.
I always thought it was pipe too. And every time you said pike, I'm like, is he saying that right? But I looked it up, and from what I can tell, pike is what it's supposed to be.
Coming down the turnpike.
But also they say either way, it still means the same thing. So. All right. I'm just going to turn this down so you'll go take care of your stuff and make it back in the room in time. I really just wanted to turn it down anyway. So.
Because I'm having a good
Oh
time,
no!
having
I'm
a
turning
good
it back
time.
up. I'd rather hear that. The only thing that's interrupting the singing is him leaving the room. Now I am glad he forgot his laptop. So I can go into the fortress, crank up my anime music, and be productive. Because him singing that song for the next 3 hours would be counterproductive. It'll mess with my efficiency. You know, Kevin, I haven't watched it yet. It looks like it's pretty cool, though. I keep meaning to. I'm trying to finish off a couple other things before I take on something new, though. Also, it's kind of weird, but I kind of now like watching series when I know they're done.
Steroids and pain meds, then really there is no other option. And that's what I love so much about what I get to do.
I'm trying to think, should I make this for the Nerf wall?
Natural options to rejuvenate the tissue in your joints and give you your life back.
When they come back,
So you're having a problem over there where the same person keeps losing, which was me for a while. And I know how that feels. And it gets boring when the same person loses all the time. But if you lose, you lose. But Rob never loses. That's annoying. I want him on that wall. You guys want him on that wall. I'm not willing to cheat to make that happen, but I would like to see him on that wall. It's what we all want. Yeah, Stephen, I've let him off the hook a couple times because last time I didn't want to shoot him twice. And the fact that I shot him in the lip. Not my fault, it's his fault. There are masks available to cover your face. Yeah, I know, Kevin. But, you know, I share what you guys feel. I want to see Rob on that wall also. I would like to be there when
Is this up for?
well, I'm discussing it.
Okay.
When Rob Young is there with the Gatling gun, and so Rob can see what that feels like. And I know you guys might think it's Nerf, it doesn't hurt. Ask him about his lip.
Did he take one to the face?
Yeah, it's my
Ooh.
fault. And I felt bad about it, so I didn't shoot him the second time because he lost twice. We owed him one for Christmas, and then he lost last time. It's not good when and I lost like 3 or 4 times in a row. It takes kind of the fun out of it if other people don't face the wall. Matthew's been on the wall. You know who hasn't been on the wall?
Me.
And Cameron.
Really?
Yes. He was due to be on the wall once, but I took it for him because he couldn't be in the studio. So it doesn't count. He hasn't actually
Look
been
at
on the
Pops
wall.
laying down on the sword. For
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got to do that.
Love that. If Rob loses, I'm buying Zoe a bigger Nerf gun. Zoe will let you.
Yes, I will. Or at least let me borrow it. You know, that gets me hyped up every time I hear that. And it just makes me want to, yeah. Welcome to the Fight Club. No, not that kind of, yeah. Where we come at you like a Logan Paul slap to Seth Rollins' noggin.
Yeah.
Multiple times, which hopefully happens again, but I got a feeling it's not going to go the way I want it to. Before we get into WrestleMania, just got to mention one thing, but it's WrestleMania related. Come across this story earlier this morning from, I believe, Fox Carolina. Kelly Bryant, you know who that is?
I sure do. He used to play quarterback for the University of Clemson, if I recall.
He was a Clemson Tiger. He was. You know what he's doing this weekend? He, among like 50 other athletes, are trying out for the WWE. No, say it isn't so. It is so. Kelly Bryant, Clemson's own, Kelly Bryant. So if Kelly Bryant, if you're not a wrestling fan and you are a Clemson fan, just like, all those guys, well, the NFL, I'm only into college, and suddenly they were Houston fans for a while before, that thing happened. And then now they're Jacksonville fans. Will they suddenly become WWE fans? I'm legitimately curious about that.
I don't know how you wouldn't be. I would be jacked if one of my old alum was suddenly an NFL guy.
Especially if it's your guys, if it's someone you played with or someone every Saturday down at the fake Death Valley you went to see Kelly play, and now he's a wrestler. I'm interested to see how it translates, because there are a lot of ex-pro athletes from other sports that go into wrestling. Some of them are successful, some of them are not.
By the way, you know who so when I was down in Destin, obviously we were the home for FSU football on the old station I was on. So I was always around FSU guys. And much like with Clemson and South Carolina, like I have a rooting interest in this team because I get paid when they're good. Florida State University, you know who went there?
I'm aware.
Damn!
He was at South Carolina Comic-Con a couple years ago.
I know. I wish I'd have been here for that.
Yeah, or was it junior? It doesn't matter. By the way, South Carolina Comic-Con coming up in 2 weeks, April 15th and 16th at the convention center. You should go because you know who you're going to be able to meet: a bunch of wrestlers and a bunch of artists and a bunch of people who are into the same stuff that you're into. All right.
And Robin Lonzo.
Yeah, we're going to be there. We're going to be there. We're going to cosplay as ourselves.
Yep, I'm going to cosplay as South Carolina's favorite baseball talk show host.
There you go. By the way, Bet for the Cycle coming up when?
April 16th.
There we go.
2 Saturdays front, not this Saturday, not the next
So
Saturday.
the Saturday.
How do I numbers?
Yeah, and so Saturday whenever
Saturday
Comic-Con.
after college basketball's over.
No, the Saturday when Comic-Con's going on.
Oh, it is.
Yes, it is.
Guess I'll be late that afternoon.
Yes, that's all right. It'll still be going on. All right, so let's get to the matches. I'm still not in on WrestleMania being 2 days. And here's the reason why, because I only care about me, obviously. And I have a show every Saturday night. And, I've had a show on Saturday night for 22 of 23 years. So, so something goes on Saturday night, I got to miss it. And because Peacock sucks, and Peacock really does suck. If you rewind it back, like if I get home at 9:30 and start watching WrestleMania, which starts at 8 from the beginning, I'm going to miss the last 2 matches and won't be able to watch it for like a couple hours later, which is like the next day. So I hate Peacock, but I do appreciate that the WWE is on it. All right, let's start out with they've added its showcase matches. How do you feel about showcase matches? It enables some of these guys and girls to get to wrestle when maybe they wouldn't for WrestleMania. So that's kind of cool, but there are showcase matches going on. Not too much story behind it. The first one is, and this will be for Nerf Wall, because why not? We want you on that wall.
There it is.
We want you on that wall. Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan versus Shotzi and Natalya versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus, and this says TBD. I don't know if that's been decided yet or if it'll be decided Friday night. I don't think it really matters. I think we know who's going to win this. Raquel Rodriguez, one of those wrestlers that they brought up from NXT and then don't really know what to do with her. She could be the powerhouse that she was in NXT, and she could be on par with some of Rhea and my friend Charlotte Flair, because she has that size to her, and they have billed her as like the monster of the women's division now that Nia Jax isn't there. But they're not doing anything with her. And Liv Morgan, she had a run, and she had a decent run, but she ruined it here in Greenville, South Carolina at the Well. So I think we know who's winning this.
Do we?
Yeah, at least Ronda and Shayna Baszler are winning this.
Okay, we do then. We do. Yeah, I listen, your next rivalry, because I have not seen a fan. Well, that's not true. I have seen a small number of wrestlers go from pop star over to people are just, why are they here? And Ronda Rousey has made that group. The only way you're going to be able to take her next level is her versus Shayna Baszler, and let them kind of do it like shoot MMA style to some level, since they're both great MMAers or were at one point. So I agree. I think Shayna and Ronda end up winning this thing. Just give me all the Chelsea Green you can give me, though.
Yeah, I forgot. That's who the other
Chelsea
thing
Green
is.
and
Chelsea
Sonya
Green
Deville.
and Sonya Deville.
And
Yeah,
team, can I speak to your manager?
yeah. They're not going to win,
I
but
believe
still.
Adam suggested that they name themselves the complaint department.
Yes,
which was phenomenal.
I wish they would do that. That's a good name. All right, the next match is something we've all been looking forward to. When the ex-con finally gets his hands on his dad.
His deadbeat dad?
His deadbeat dad. Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. Such a good you shouldn't say this, but what a moment when Rey finally punches Dom in the face. I mean, it just to the point where I saw it and I was watching in another room and I went into the other room where my wife was watching some crime drama or something because she's really into those. I think women are really into those CSIs and all that kind of stuff.
For the record, so am I.
Yeah, but
not like they are.
I also work at a news station. So I mean,
fair.
it just takes it away from me. So I walked in there and was like, listen, you've got to see this. And she's like, finally. I mean, this is, by the way, along with the bloodline, this is how you do a storyline as far as stretching out. And it got too heated for a while, and they had to move Rey over to SmackDown to get him away from it. You knew they were going to come back to it eventually. I cannot wait for this match. Rey Mysterio is being inducted into the Hall of Fame tomorrow night. Chances are this is going to be his last match. He's been talking about it for a while. I don't know if it will be or not, but there's a good shot that his last match is going to be against his son. And Dom is getting better. His character is over like no one's business. I think he gets more booze than anybody in wrestling. Well, except for maybe MJF. He gets that many boos. And when he just said, I wish Eddie really was my dad.
So good.
Yeah, it's
so good.
It's real good. I'm going Dominic Mysterio beats Rey Mysterio.
So am I. If it is Rey's match, Rey's an old school guy. Rey's a go out on your back to elevate the next level of dudes. And I think who else would he want to do that for more than his own kids?
I don't think it's not going to be a clean victory, but
I don't care. Dominic goes over. He may get a little help from Damien. Although you've had a couple of other guys that have gotten involved, even if it's indirectly. LA Knight against Rey, obviously Damien. Now you've got Legado del Fantasma who's involved. So I think you probably have some outside interference followed by comeuppance for whoever it is that gives Dominic the edge. But yeah, I think Rey goes down for Dom.
All right, the next match, and I'm just going in order of where I printed this out from, is the for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships, the Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Here's where the beginning of the end of the bloodline could possibly start, if that's going to happen. If the bloodline is going to end, it's probably going to start right here in this match, which I'm guessing. I haven't looked at card lineup, and I don't know if they've announced that yet. This wouldn't surprise me if this is not the main event from night one. We know what the main event for night two is. We also know what the starting match for night one is, but we'll talk about that in a second. So Usos versus Zayn and Owens. I think this is when Jay makes his move. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This is when Jay makes his move to take over the bloodline, to be the real head of the table, and somehow turns on his brother and turns on Roman Reigns. And I think Sami and Kevin Owens come away with the championship.
I am not only going to agree with you, but this is the easiest pick of the night for me. Okay. For two reasons. Number one, it just makes sense. It creates turmoil to make Cody v. Roman more interesting on night number two, because if only Solo is left standing to help Roman, evens up the odds just a little bit. Here's the other reason I pick. I go, as I do with literally everything in sports, look at the Vegas lines. You know what the Usos are? You know what Kevin and Sami Zayn are on the Vegas line to walk away with the belts?
No, I do not.
Minus 3,000.
Wow.
The Usos are plus 800. An even match where nobody has any
I just
clue.
want to point out, we know that wrestling is scripted, but people are still betting on it in Vegas.
Here, let me give you some odds. Give me what do you think is, outside of Cody v. Roman, what do you think is the match that you just have the least clue about the winner? For me, it's the Intercontinental Championship match.
See, that's not for me. For me, it's Charlotte versus Rhea.
Charlotte versus Rhea. You think that's an even split line? I don't. Rhea's minus 1,000. Charlotte's plus 500. They're strapping Rhea Ripley on that night. And also, by the way, that's your night one main event. I'm calling
Is
that
it?
shot now.
Okay, well, we'll
Calling
see.
that shot now. We will see. The two, I think, here, I'll give you one that is, I'll give one that we pick in the middle. Bianca v. Asuka. I got no clue. I got no idea.
Okay, all right.
The odds in that one, Bianca minus 120, Asuka minus 120.
Okay, there you go. That's
The
even.
Usos are plus 800. KO the Zane Show is minus 3,000.
Yeah, I see a lot of people, including James on the stream, thinks that Jay's going to be the one that's the end, and I think so too.
Well, as we've said a number of times, keep in mind this story. While Sammy has become the
it
fan
can
favorite
go
part of it,
anywhere.
it can. But the story has always been about Jay, right? Like Sammy kind of propped himself up by being so damn good at his job. But this story's always been about Jay being abused by Roman.
Yeah, from the very beginning.
The story has to end with Jay getting the upper hand to put the bad guy away, since this was always about Jay getting strong-armed back in line. Jay's got to finish the story, which is why KO and Sammy are minus 3,000.
And we'll get to that pick in a minute. All right, the next match, Street Profits versus Alpha Academy versus Viking Raiders versus Ricochet and Braun Strowman. I know who's not going to win. Let's let you go first because we're just picking the same every time.
Fair enough. The Viking Raiders are not winning this, although there is a small % chance they do, because it kind of feels like they want to prop them up as like the Ulta heels of the.
I love the look. I really do.
It's fine. Initially, I honestly out of the gate wanted to go Street Profits, but I'm wondering if they're not getting close, because everybody's calling for a Montez solo run, which I hate because the Street Profits are my favorite tag team right now. So I can't pick them. Gable and Otis are in this to eat a tag. So whoever wins is going to pin Chad Gable or Otis. I'm going to go Braun and Ricochet. I think in order to prop up the Viking Raiders, you've got to have a tag team that everybody's kind of fought. And what an odd couple of dudes to pair up. But because they've paired it up that way, it's worked so well. I think Gable and Otis and the Street Profits are super close to breaking up. So this comes to the Strowman Ricochet versus the Viking Raiders for me. I'm just going to go Strowman and Ricochet, but I don't love it.
All right, I am going to go Viking Raiders. Because of the building of everything. I will tell you who's going to get pinned. It's going to be Chad Gable, and it's going to be because Otis finally goes, I'm out.
Yep.
Heading back to.
He's got better things to do.
He does. He absolutely
like
does.
Hand model.
Yes, and that's what's going to happen. All right, the next match, you mentioned this. Our friend of the show, Gunther, the Ring General. I'm not going to try to do the Hannah thing because I'm just not good at it. Going up against Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. I think the Sheamus and Drew McIntyre thing is getting kind of old, and I get it. I mean, those guys do good matches against each other, but I think it's a slight to Gunther making it into a three-way. I think he should have had straight up competition. We know who he wanted to see because he broke it right here on this very show, and that was Brock Lesnar. We all saw that moment. We talked about that. After we talked about it on the air, it went everywhere because that's what we do. But I think he's being slighted in this. And I was a fan already. I'm a bigger fan actually having him in the building and being able to talk to him and everything. For a quiet guy, when it's time to turn it on, he will turn it on. And I say Gunther remains the champion.
I want to disagree with you, but I can't. I'm looking for places to disagree, but I'm going Gunther to hold on. Listen, Drew and Sheamus as the on again, off again, will they, won't they couple is an adorable love story. I'm all here for it. I like Sammy and KO. Like, it's great when good friends have this much chemistry and get after it, especially with two of the heaviest hitters in the game. But I think you've made too much buzz around Gunther. I think he is effectively positioned really well to become the final boss to make it to the head of the table. And I think eventually he'll be elevated to give him a run with it. I think you're going to see Sheamus and McIntyre cost each other a match and Gunther wins.
All right. The next match is Edge versus Finn Balor in Hell in the Cell. I think Edge's feud with Judgment Day needs to be done. Edge came back. It was a big story. It was really cool and everything, but he's near the end of his run this time on his own terms. Going against the Demon. We haven't seen the Demon in forever. And the Demon in a cage is going to be pretty cool to look like. Hopefully they've enhanced his intro with all the Judgment Day stuff behind it. I think at WrestleMania it has the potential to be a really good entrance, but if it's as long as it usually is to get to the ring, he's not doing the thing he used to do with the Demon, and that's crawling all the way to the ring. I don't see him doing that. If he does, he's gonna be blown up before he gets there.
Because of the 8-mile long runway they use.
I'm gonna go with Finn Balor winning this. Because the Demon's only lost once, I think.
Yes, and it was, by the way, never explained. Wasn't that the one where the ring post broke?
Yeah.
And then they never came back to that, right? Like they never said it was a technical failure or it was magic. I don't know what they would have explained it with, but they never came back to that. You're right. This rivalry needs to end. It's been great, by the way. It's been really good. It's been hampered by some injuries, which has been bad. I'll go Edge because we got to have a couple different here. I'll go Edge. I think this one is probably one of the flip of coins matches here. By the way, in Vegas, Finn Balor's -175. So I am going a dog here at Edge +135. I just think I think they got this one wrong.
I'm pretty happy that I picked something that Vegas picked. Probably the only one that you and I differed on that I was going with Vegas. That's fine. The next match is the match that Rob cannot wait to see. He's going to be on the edge of his seat the entire time watching.
When I get up to go to the fridge and get a beer,
watching his boy. You say all that, but you know how good this is going to be.
I know.
Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins. Potential to at least steal the show for whichever night it's on, which I'm guessing will be Saturday, but it may not be. But it's going to be good. I mean, against Roman Reigns, he was excellent. Against Logan Paul can wrestle, dude. He just can.
Yeah, in fact, I think I said that on the air the day after his
it bothers people.
Roman match.
It bothers people, but Logan Paul can wrestle.
Me. You can just say it bothers me. It's fine.
It bothers more than you.
I'm taking Seth because I don't, despite the fact that Logan's contract with WWE is up after WrestleMania, I don't think he may go box a match or he may go exhibition a match or two with boxing gloves on. But I think he comes back and I think he gives Seth a run to SummerSlam. Give me Seth Rollins in this one.
It's funny. I look up and Seth Rollins is trending. I haven't checked why. Maybe it's because I just said his name.
That's
Maybe
what we set trends around here.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go with Logan Paul here. And here's the reason why. Seth Rollins doesn't have to win ever.
Yeah, but
because he's so over
most of them lately.
He has.
At some point even if he is over, whether it's because of the song or him, at some point he's got to pick up a win or that goes away too.
James says Logan Paul is the "Don't Stop Me Now" of WWE. That's great. I'm
having such a good time.
I'm going with Logan Paul because his contract is up, and what better way to get yourself a new contract than being guaranteed a victory over someone like Seth Rollins in such a big match at WrestleMania. I'm going Logan Paul on this.
Seth got knocked out too many times and too many shows consecutively to not see the right.
Maybe we're on the way for a character change because of all the losses.
Seth gets knocked back to wearing a bulletproof vest for no reason. In case anybody decides to go shoot him up at a wrestling show, Seth, Roman, and Dean were ready.
Yeah, there you go. All right, the next match is actually the first match Saturday night. And it is John Cena versus Austin Theory for the United States Championship. Listen, Cena's not going to come back and win the U.S. Championship. If he comes back to win a championship, it's going to be to break a certain record and win the most, which is not even really a WWE record. The WWE record John Cena already owns. He's won the belt more than anybody. But he is not going to come back and beat Theory. This is to get Theory over, and I think it'd be a decent match, but we haven't seen Cena in the ring in what, like 2 years? Oh no, he was
tag team with KO.
Yeah. And how much did he really wrestle though?
Yeah.
I'm going to say, how much does he sell for Theory? He sells a bunch though, because Theory's going to have to carry this match. I'm going with Theory to win this.
I think Cena can still go, but yes, you're putting Austin Theory over here. There's no doubt. This might be the most confident pick I have in the weekend. I'm not saying it's clean.
All right.
Just that he wins it.
Damage Control versus Becky, Lita, and Trish. Trish is going to mess everybody over. You already see how it is, and Damage Control wins this match. I am rooting for Damage Control all the way. I never was that big of a Lita fan anyway, but sometimes bringing people back is a bad move and it looks bad on everyone.
No. Lita doesn't look great. And by the way, keep in mind, Lita was Rob's favorite hot wrestler back in the day, right? I love crazy women. I love Lita. Big fan. Always have been. But she looks bad. Trish looks like she's still got a little go left in her. But this is about Bex. This is about Becky. Give me the good guys. Give me the face team to win this. Even if it's not.
Which one is that?
Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish.
Okay, because to me the face team is Damage Control.
If you're a contrarian, of course they are.
That has nothing to do with that. I think people are turning on Becky, and they should. Let's see. Finally, see, this is the thing.
You got time? I don't care.
Well, I do, because but we actually do have a clock that we have to. We've got 2 more breaks.
Brock Lesnar by 1,000.
Yeah, I agree. Brock Lesnar wins almost. See, I don't want to short sell some of these though by just running through them. We can.
We'll come back and finish it in the next segment.
Yes.
It's WrestleMania weekend.
Let's do that.
All right, we'll come back. We'll finish up the rest of the card and call it a day on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate Extended Fight Club.
Cena's never going to win another championship as long as Ric Flair's around. I know how it sounds, but he's just not going to. And Ric Flair's immortal. So you know.
Woo! I don't know. You think Flair wouldn't accept?
No, I don't think he would.
He would be like, put me in
one more match. Exactly. No way Cena wins unless, of course, he's going to wrestle more than one match, but he's got a lot of stuff going on, so I don't know. I get that, James. And by the way, we'll talk more WrestleMania tomorrow. It is the Super Bowl of wrestling, so. It's the thing about it. There's so many matches. Not as many as I thought initially because I'm a goober, but. Oh, I agree, Trey. EO can go. I've always liked Dakota Kai, but I don't think she's reached the level that she needs to be on the main roster. I remember seeing her in Spartanburg when NXT came around, and I like her. And you would think, being with who she's with, she would get better, but I'm not so sure she has. But EO Sky might possibly be the best wrestler in the group. Yes. So we'll make this streaming exclusive. So last night on AEW, I hate to spoil this for you, Rob. So the Combat Club went completely heel, which we knew we were going. When I say complete, so you saw Brian Danielson come out and beat up Kenny Omega. So Kenny Omega is making that turn because Matt Jackson is hurt. Yeah, it's going to be out for a while. So no, it's not going to be any elite for a while. And you can't throw Adam Cole in there because Adam Cole is currently on his babyface track. And it looks like his next opponent is going to be Jericho. I know people get mad about Jericho coming out and putting himself in a moment, but after you watched him, he's just wrestling a JAS member. It's obvious that Jericho is going to come out.
Yeah, I agree.
And the one of the most entertaining things on all of AEW right now
Adam Hangman Page.
are the guns. I don't know what he's talking about. The guns are great.
That's our great.
I mean, the sarcasm is just, it's really good.
Always find what you love at Total Wine and More. With so many bottles to choose from at the lowest price, it's easy to find your favorite Cabernet or a new single barrel bourbon to try. With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More.
What's up with CM Punk? I don't know. I don't care anymore. I'm just trying to think, Zoe. I don't think there has been a wrestler in recent memory that turned me off of them quite as efficiently as successfully as CM Punk. I defended Punk to Lonzo every day for who the hell knows how long.
Probably as long as we've known each other.
Yeah, honestly.
All right. Welcome back to the Rob Brown Show. We're continuing the Fight Club because it's WrestleMania weekend. It's on 2 nights. Why not be 2 segments? Shout out to James, I believe, who mentioned that. And he's right. All right. Let us get back into it. We've got, looks like 3 more matches to go and only about 3 minutes to do it in. So
get to it.
Bianca Belair versus Asuka. All the push for Asuka's heel persona, everything they've done. Bianca, I love Bianca. I love her story. I love how she was able to get the title back and carry it for a year. But I think it's Asuka time. They're building Asuka back to where she should have been the entire time. The undefeatable, the wrestler you did not want to wrestle anymore. I'm going Asuka.
Same. For the same reasoning as well.
And my friend Charlotte Flair defending her title against Rhea Ripley. And if we go with what I think you said, Vegas had like 1,000.
Yeah.
Rhea
so Ripley's way over in Vegas.
So here's the problem. Rhea Ripley as champion last time was horrible. Her being in the Judgment Day has been a good move for her and a good character change. I don't think she can carry the title. I'm gonna stick with my friend Charlotte Flair on this.
Picking with your heart, Lonzo.
That's me.
Charlotte carries the strap to come back and be the final boss for whoever they want to put in that role next. That's Rhea Ripley. Give me the hot goth girlfriend.
All right, so now we've gotten where we wanted to get to. The final match, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. Go ahead. You go first.
There it is.
I also have to put – I got to put some stuff in the thing over here. So,
man, they're going to give it to Cody, right? I mean, it's not going to
Stop acting so disappointed.
I am disappointed. I don't need this story to have a forced Cody Rhodes angle. Like, I know why you're doing it out of spite, WWE. I know what you're doing, and it's fine. I get it. I understand why. But you injected AEW's guy just so you could be like, see, everybody, we're so much better, that the guy who started them.
So this disdain goes back to AEW.
No,
I mean, your tone is changing and everything.
I literally just told you I'm set up to watch like 8 hours of WrestleMania this weekend. I've watched every episode of Raw and SmackDown for the past 7 months.
By the way, and if you wanted to, NXT Stand and Deliver is on Saturday at 1 p.m.
And I'll watch that too, because that has been dramatically better since H took back over as well. No, I'm they're gonna, it's not gonna be the end of the Bloodline story, but considering Roman, we know Roman's gonna take a break for a while. I thought maybe they'd let him get to the 1,000 days, but I think they're gonna look at it now and go, even without the 1,000-day reign, he's still gonna go down as an all-timer for this run. They're going to put it on Cody and finish the story. It's also a great way for them to break the belts up because you got to put one back on both shows. I'm going to take Cody Rhodes. I hate it. I don't want it. I want for the one to stay the one, the head of the table, the tribal chief to remain acknowledged. But they're giving it to Cody.
I will tell you that the stream, all our guys on the stream all think Roman's keeping it.
James said, LOL, Roman wins.
Yeah. This story again can go so many different directions, but as we talked about earlier with Sammy and KO, they're going, and with Jay, it's going to start there. And who knows, there's still a chance they are in Hollywood. I'm just going to say there's still a chance, even though he hasn't been billed. We don't know where he is exactly. Dwayne might show up. Dwayne shows up and causes
Dwayne
Roman.
ends the bloodline.
Yeah. It causes Roman to lose. I'm going with Cody. I think it's going to be a straight up win. But I think Dwayne may show up at some point, like after, like he shows up after, like to carry the broken body of Roman out of the ring after Jay destroys him along with his little brother.
Yeah.
Or what if the entire bloodline turns on Roman and then Dwayne shows up and,
well, I mean, think about
know.
it. If you turn Jay, theoretically Jimmy goes with him. If you turn Jimmy and Jay, Sammy's going to step up and be like, hey, welcome to my side. That's great. The only one I think they could leave heel from this, because if Roman loses, he's walking away. He's going to Hollywood. He's following Cena to Hollywood, which is fine. You know who walks out of this as the next mega heel? Solo Sikoa.
And what if
and I love that.
If they show up and say Solo, if the Chiefs show up and tell Solo to do it.
Next. Yeah. And I think that's the way it goes. Give me Cody. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. We got one more show for you this week. It is tomorrow, where we will break down day number 1 of Major League Baseball. I'll give you some player props to look out season long, because I put a few of those together last night, but just didn't get to them because I'm bad at my job. What do you want? We have got to get to a few more NFL stories because they are coming hot and heavy out of the owners' meetings taking place right now, and more. Thank you for listening. Have a great rest of your day. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. And, of course, as always, go Braves. See you in the World Series. Tomorrow, Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. It's the star of Black Adam, Dwayne. Dwayne's not even advertising that movie anymore. He has walked away from that movie entirely.
Yeah, because
because it failed.
He went a power move. It didn't fail. It made money.
It failed.
If to me, if you make
Dwayne,
money,
it failed.
Yeah. Well.
Dwayne thought that was going to make him the new Henry Cavill, and it didn't. Ladies and gentlemen, you're all amazing people. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with us every day. We will see you back here tomorrow to do it all over again. Have a lovely rest of your day. Goodbye.